Arcane Archive presents Meta Talks, specifically with another rousing round of subclass discussions. Sammy, which subclasses are we going to be discussing today?
We each picked two. I'm going to be discussing the Order of Scribes Wizard and the Wild Magic Sorcerer. You picked the Echo Knight from Fighter and the Beastmaster Ranger. So a little mixed bag of fun. Usually you're more in the spellcasting side of things.
I know we kind of switched it up.
today.
Yeah, we kind of we kind of took each other's little roles there. You're more martial, I'm more or more magic or spellcaster. So this should be fun and interesting indeed. I think all four of these subclasses are quite popular for various reasons and the like. And we're gonna kind of get into them real in depth as we can and kind of showcase the positives and maybe some of the negatives, and again, the aspects that maybe are most prominent in the community about them. And so, you know what? Yeah, let's not keep the people waiting too long. Although I guess while I say that, I should say thank you guys again for tuning in. If you are liking what we're doing here at the Arcane Archive, again, as always, please be sure to like and comment on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe and share the channel if you haven't. We always appreciate any support that you can. Any questions and the like, please just let us know down in the comments, and we'll try our best to kind of get back to you about it. But with that, for real now, let's just get right into it, shall we? Let's go ahead and start us off. I can take the lead here for the first one. The Echo Knight Fighter. Now, as maybe some of you might know, maybe some of you don't, the Echo Knight Fighter is specifically a critical role addition. It, again, we've kind of talked a little bit about that before. Like, we did do an episode on like the Blood Hunter specifically, which is also a critical role addition and such. Whereas while it is still technically third party, it has also been utilized like in official D&D productions and the like. So that's why we, at this point, people still love them and use them. And so that's why it's like, hey, we might as well still include it here. It's still fine. It's still good. And this particular fighter subclass is known to be pretty dang powerful. The Echo Knight, a mysterious and feared frontline warrior of the Kryn dynasty. The Echo Knight has mastered the art of using dunamis to summon the fading shades of unrealized timelines to aid them in battle. Surrounded by echoes of their own might, they charge into the fray as a cycling swarm of shadows and strikes. Essentially what that means is like this fighter is able to somehow channel like temporal energy or magic, time magic essentially, in order to bring forth the unrealized echoes of like themselves from other timelines and shit that hasn't happened. So it's a real like, multiversal, oh, hey, like kind of thing, which is interesting. It's cool. You specifically get an abilities at 3rd level, 7th level, 10th level, and 15th level, and then finally 18th level. So let's start out. At 3rd level, you get 2 abilities to start, 2 features. Manifest Echo. You can use a bonus action to magically manifest an echo of yourself in an unoccupied space you can see within 15 feet of you. This echo is a magical, translucent gray image of you that lasts until it is destroyed, until you dismiss it as a bonus action, or until you manifest another echo, or until you are incapacitated. So this thing can just last, basically, almost indefinitely, unless you're incapacitated or you basically summon another one or get rid of it or it dies. Like,
this is something that I never understood with this class. Have you played one before? Or?
A little bit. I've made one before, and so I played it a little bit on kind of like one shots and stuff, but not anything super in depth yet, which I'm very annoyed about. But
the thing that makes me kind of like weirded out by it is that your echo can be killed easily, but you can just keep bringing it back, right?
So essentially, like, yeah, you can, if I'm not mistaken. Let's actually
it's just a bonus action.
Yeah, so. It's a bonus action to manifest your echo. And so you can just keep bringing the echo back as a bonus action. But obviously, say for instance, if your echo gets, you take your turn to use your echo to bring it 4th, you then basically would have to, like, if you get hit with an AoE, your echo is gone, and then you have to spend your bonus action the next turn to then bring it out to the forefront. And it's basically like, yeah. So it at 3rd level when you first get it, you know what? Let's also just continue down with the full description of it as well. Your echo, no, it's totally fine too, because I think that's a good point. Your echo has an AC 14 plus your proficiency bonus. It has 1 hit point and immunity to all conditions. If it has to make a saving throw, it uses your saving throw bonus for the roll. It is the same size as you and occupies its space. On your turn, you can mentally command the echo to move up to 30 feet in any direction. No action required. If your echo is ever more than 30 feet from you at the end of your turn, it is destroyed. So that is one thing. It does have to be at lower level. It does have to stay within 30 feet of you at all times. So if you are, forcefully pushed away from it more than 30 feet, then that would also get rid of it. You can then summon it again as a bonus action, but it also specifically requires you to use bonus actions or other things to utilize it at times. For instance, you can use the echo in the following ways. As a bonus action, you can teleport, magically swapping places with your echo at a cost of 15 feet of your movement, regardless of the distance between the two of you. Obviously, it has to be within 30 feet, though, at least currently. When you take the attack action on your turn, any attack you make with that action can originate from your space or the echo space. You make this choice for each attack. So you could, do this at range. You could, attack through your echo from your current position with the attack action, which is nice. When a creature that you can see within 5 feet of your echo moves at least 5 feet away from it, you can use your reaction to make an opportunity attack against that creature as if you were in the echo space. So again, it kind of basically just functions like another you. You just have like a little bit more like superior positioning, maybe a bit of range almost, or just stuff like that. Movement is great. The teleport is always helpful. The other bread and butter of this subclass to be using the entire time is the second feature you get at 3rd level, known as Unleash Incarnation. You can heighten your Echo's Fury. Whenever you take the attack action, you can make 1 additional melee attack from the Echo's position. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier, a minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So basically, yeah, you just get to attack like 1 more time, basically. At this level, which is nice. So at this level, at 3rd level, you'd only be attacking technically once, but with the echo, you could technically attack twice at 3rd level at this point. Not including obviously your action surge. So that's all. That's definitely helpful. And obviously, as you get higher up, like the more attacks you can do, like at 5th level, you can attack 3 times. At I believe 10th or 12th level, you can attack 3 times, and then with the echo, it will be 4 times. And then at max level, you can attack with the echo up to 5 times. And obviously, it's not including the other bonuses that it would get at that point as well.
What is also cool, which the wording of this allows, is when you use your action surge, the echo, you can have the echo attack again.
You can have the echo attack again
with this feature because you are taking a separate attack
action. Exactly. So you can start racking up the hits exponentially. Again, that's what makes this fighter class like one of it is pretty busted. I have run games for an Echo Knight fighter before, a number of multiple games, and yeah, it can get pretty ridiculous, especially at higher levels, what this guy is capable of. But speaking of that, let's go into the higher level abilities real quick. At 7th level, you gain the ability known as Echo Avatar. You can temporarily transfer your consciousness into your echo. As an action, you can see through your echo's eyes and hear through its ears. During this time, you are deafened and blinded. You can sustain this effect for up to 10 minutes, and you can end it anytime, requires no action. While your echo is being used in this way, it can be up to 1,000 feet away from you without being destroyed. So this works well, obviously, with the previous ability of Manifest Echo, where if you can literally just have this echo be like, if you have to go, let's say a potential ambush meeting, right? It's like you like a thieves guild or whatever else. It's like, oh, hey, we're doing a hostage exchange, or oh, hey, we want you to come to this location by yourself alone. And you're like, okay, cool. And you basically just roll up with your echo instead of yourself. And anytime something bad happens, you just fucking either you can have your echo attack, or they take out your echo, no harm done. Like you heard, you did everything, you saw everything. Or you could even potentially just teleport, bonus action teleport, swap places with your echo so that the real you is there, and start going to business. And then you can just bonus action resummon your echo right next or within 30 feet of you or whatever the hell. Like it's a pretty great ability that I like the fact that it has less of a like combat oriented, but it gives them a little bit more RP and exploration opportunity with this thing. Because yeah, it gives you like a little bit of like room to be like a little bit more defensive, strategic, or sneaky, which I like a lot.
I think it's neat because they did put a restriction on the echo of it. Like if it's more than 30 feet away from you, it disappears.
Exactly.
Unless you're using it.
Unless you're using the echo avatar, but like unless you are
so like the whole
transferring yourself to it.
What's it called? The whole sending in the echo as like a scout or something. Like you can't do it in the reverse where you send it away and teleport out of a fight because you have to look through it and act as it. But I like that it's this kind of like it's like a guerrilla tactic for scouts. You send out your echo 1,000 feet ahead of the rest of the party, and if something pops up and tries to kill it, if you can kill it yourself, you teleport to it and do it, or it's just acting as ostensibly a ward.
It's literally it's literally just like a it's literally just like a sacrificial lamb that you can just like throw in there and then you're fine. Like you just it's a great little aspect. I always, again, here, we always appreciate and love abilities or subclasses specifically, I should say, that allow for a multitude or range of the three pillars of D&D, right? Exploration, roleplay, and combat. Obviously, subclasses usually have a lot to do with combat most of the time. But anytime you do have certain abilities that do provide some really juicy RP potential or aspects or whatever else, like, or even exploration, whatever, it's still great.
Anything in a subclass that helps any of the other two pillars of play is
and obviously though it does kind of fall onto the GM though to provide an opportunity for these things to be more applicable. Like that is the one thing, obviously, when it comes to more role play or exploration based abilities and stuff, the GM does have to take deliberate steps for the player and the character to then use those abilities. Like say for instance, bear totem barbarians, they get access to like certain natural spells. One being like commune with nature, right? Commune with nature, a fantastic spell, great spell. Gives the barbarian a little bit more ability, a little bit more versatility. It's not just, oh, I'm going to run up and smash and clash and slash, everything. It's like, hey, I can help my party like scout. I can like, ping a lot of information in the area with this spell that I can ritual cast. Like, that's great. It's amazing. Same thing with this here. But you do have to, like we said, those scenarios that we just said, like your GMs, you have to give your Echo Knight fighters those opportunities to like do that. To be like, hey, I'm going to send my Echo Knight, into this situation, or my Echo Avatar into the situation so that I can use it in this cool way. But you know what? Let's go ahead and move on to the next ability. The next feature is at 10th level, and it is known as Shadow Martyr. You can make your Echo throw itself in front of an attack directed at another creature that you can see. Before the attack roll is made, you can use your reaction to teleport the Echo to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the targeted creature. The attack roll that triggered the reaction is instead made against your Echo. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So here's the thing. Obviously, this allows, like, say, a teammate takes like a freaking nat 20 hit, right? They get hit with a crit. You can use your reaction then to teleport, and it does specifically say it just has to be at a creature that you can see. There's no specific range restriction on that.
Which one?
Shadow Martyr. You can make your Echo itself throw itself in front of an attack directed at another creature that you can see. Now, to be fair, one could maybe say, well, they have to be within 30 feet of you, because if you make your Echo go farther than 30 feet, then it would be destroyed.
Technically, if you're using the Echo avatar, you could probably...
That's what I'm saying.
That would be a fun, like,
That's what I'm saying. You could still use it as another sacrificial lamb kind of thing. Like, obviously, in an actual fight, like, this would still be great. You can only use it once, a short or long rest. So it is a bit of a clutch moment kind of thing, honestly. Because obviously it does have the chance of surviving, because your Echo Knight has an AC 14 plus your proficiency bonus. So obviously, like as you get higher up, your Echo's AC is going to go higher. Its health is always going to remain a 1. It's never going to increase in health. But it does not, it has a chance where certain enemies won't even be able to hit it. It won't be able to get through like its armor or defenses. So, I mean, like, I would say, though, obviously, because you can only use this once a short or long rest, it makes the most sense to use this on like a crit hit. Like if one of your teammates or whatever gets crit and you're like, all right, Shadow Martyr, and you throw your Echo over there to take that crit, because obviously it doesn't matter. It's going to hit regardless with the crit, and it will just suck up that damage for your teammate. So again, a little bit of a defensive ability for your teammates, not necessarily, although I don't know if it necessarily says you can't do that for yourself, though. It just says...
Yeah, because it's the Echo throw itself in front of an attack directed at another creature.
Okay.
And I would argue that technically you could throw it in front of yourself, right? Because you are another creature.
Well, no, that's the thing. You're not another creature. Like that the specific qualifier of another, I think is intended for it to be like you can't do it to yourself. It has to be fine. Another creature. So maybe that might be I'm fine with that too. It is more of a support feature in that regard. Because you can throw your Echo and direct it at another creature that you can see. Yeah, okay. So I might say maybe like it's debatable.
If it's saying another creature you can see, then it is not you.
Yeah,
it would say yourself or another creature.
I agree. Like that's how I would rule that as well, and that's what makes the most sense to me. So that's again though still a great little support ability that they threw in there to help out your teammates a bit. I will say I feel like it's maybe a little underwhelming for a 10th level feature ability. Like I feel like it, that you could have easily gotten that at a lower level, like even at 3rd level, I feel like would have still worked fine and maybe even been more helpful at that level. But either way, moving on, the next ability you get is at 15th level, and it is known as Reclaim Potential. You've learned to absorb the fleeting magic of your Echo. When an Echo of yours is destroyed by taking damage, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 2d6 plus your Constitution modifier, provided you don't already have temporary hit points. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Con modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So, hey, this is actually pretty nice. It's kind of just like another second wind kind of ability. Yeah. Like, not too shabby at all. Like you honestly, and it's not even like it doesn't require you to use any resources. It's just when an Echo is destroyed by taking damage, you just automatically gain temporary hit points. Like, although it does say provided you don't already have temporary hit points. So I would say then that means it doesn't automatically overwrite your hit points, your temporary hit points. So that would be one thing, I guess. You'd have to lose your temporary hit points for it to then, like, work again, I guess. Which is fine, nothing wrong with that at all. It still just gives you, especially at this high level, honestly, it's not unlikely that your Echo is probably going to start dying a lot. Like, it's going to be taking a shit ton of damage. Like, with all kinds of probably AoE effects. Because obviously, again, with AoE effects, this is the bane of this subclass, and that's probably also why there's no limit to how many Echoes you can summon, because of the fact it's got 1 hit point. You hit it with an AoE attack, it's just gone. Like, even if it saves against it, it's still going to take half damage, which is almost always going to still be enough to kill it. Like, there's almost no way to roll, zero damage unless you're immune to something. So
yeah.
AoE attacks completely shut this shit down for the most part, but that's also why it's like, oh, hey, I can bring it back as a bonus action on my turn and then, whatever. Especially since it also has to stay within 30 feet of you. So that usually will most likely mean that it'll be hit by any AoE effects that are near you too. So, but moving on to the final capstone ability for this subclass, it is known as... At 18th level, it is known as Legion of One. You can use a bonus action to create 2 Echoes with your Manifest Echo feature this time, and these Echoes can coexist. If you try to create a 3rd Echo, the previous 2 Echoes are destroyed. Anything you can do from one echo's position can be done from the others instead. In addition, when you roll initiative and you have no uses of your Unleash Incarnation feature left, you regain one use of that feature. This is badass as shit, dude. Instead of having just one echo, you can have two now. 18th level, again, I feel like I probably would have put it maybe a little lower. But at 18th level, like, this shit is kind of crazy right now. Like, that means then that you can attack 2 more times instead of just 1 now. So at 20th level, an Echo Knight fighter could attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, I think 18 times. Because like with this, you can attack an extra 2 times per echo. Like you can attack.
Isn't it just once per echo?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So it's like you can. So the normal fighter can attack 4 times at 20th level, and then the 2 echoes could attack once each, which would be 6 total. And then if you action surge,
it's another 6.
It's 12, and if you action surge again, it's 18.
If you're hasted, that's 3 more attacks.
Yeah, if you're hasted.
You don't get the hasted attack action. I think is not the same as the regular attack action.
It's not. You can only attack technically once, so it would still be it.
It would just be 3. It'd be 3 more.
Yeah. So that would
no. Haste is separate from action surge. It's just the 1 attack.
No, that's what I mean. It would be 1 attack per haste, but you are still technically taking the attack action.
So it's either 19. It's either 19 or 20 attacks.
It would be 21. It would be either 19 or 21 attacks total that you could do with a 20th level Echo Knight fighter. And that's not even including, obviously, if you could at some point bonus action attack or something too with an offhanded weapon even. Yeah. So you could potentially attack 22 times.
That's insane.
with a 20th level Echo Knight fighter. If you like had a weapon in the offhand and then attack with offhand with your bonus action, you could just attack 4 times, action surge, or attack 4 times. Your echoes attack once each, so that's 6. Yeah, and then action surge, do the same shit. Action surge again, the same shit. Hasted attack, your echoes attack again, and then because like here, okay. Here's the question. Does the bonus action offhand attack count as the attack action, which would then trigger your echoes again?
No. It's not. The attack action is just your action. It has to be.
I agree. I think it would be. So I
think you're more. It's better off not doing the 2-handed attack. Like get a big weapon instead of 2 little ones. If you're gonna attack that many times anyway.
Well, I mean,
it's just it'll be better mathematically speaking.
It could be. I mean, but you also get higher chances of critting though with more rolls though.
It's only 1 more attack.
Still, I mean. Even that 1 more attack, again, if you get a higher, because again, you also just get a higher chance of hitting. More dice means that you increase your odds of hitting. You can potentially do a higher damage output with a stronger weapon, with a 2-handed weapon, but you also would then technically lose. You would lower your chances of being able to actually hit with it, potentially, depending on the weapon itself. So obviously, then it would just be a matter of choosing, like, if your bonus is high enough, then yeah, absolutely, probably just go for the 2-handed. If you're wanting like, just more on average damage, more rolls obviously means you're much more on average going to hit. Still though, that shit is freaking crazy. Potentially 22 attacks in 6 seconds. That dude's literally like Luffy from One Piece going like with a gum Gatling gun, dude. He's literally just like He's literally like fucking after image, just like all of his arms moving so fast you can barely see that shit. That's freaking. It's like the Matrix when they're fighting in the subway and Mr. Smith hits Neo against the wall and just starts like tenderizing the shit out of him. Dude, that's dope. This is what I'm saying. Like, people with shit like this, how can you say that like martial classes aren't crazy? Like that's superhuman right there. That's literally, I mean, obviously he's level 20 at this point, and so he should be, you know what I mean? But even before that, at level 12, he's still hitting 3 times.
I think,
and so it would be 5 and then 10, because I don't know if he gets all of his 2 action surges. But at that point, I think maybe he does.
I think it's just 1.
It might still be 1 at level 12, but that still means he can attack 10 times, not including haste. Oh, no, wait, not 10 times. It would be because it would be 3 plus 1 because he doesn't have 2 incarnations. So it would be 3, it would be 4, 8. He can attack 8 times in 6 seconds with an action surge, and not even including with haste, it would be 10. With haste, it would be 10 times he could attack. Like, and obviously with haste, he is magically enhanced, but still, even without it, 8 times in 6 seconds, like, let your martial classes be like superheroes. Like, you got to give them a little bit more capacity to do these because when they do shit like this is clearly superhuman, bro.
Yeah,
like, come on.
I love it because it's one of those things. I mean, like, anyone who dogs on martial classes in 5e, I don't quite understand, because it's pretty evident that they are the damage dealing. Like, if you want straight numbers, you're gonna do more as a martial
I was gonna
class
say,
than
or
I think anything else.
I would say, like, the average, if you get a really good weapon for a martial class,
oh yeah, you're
on average, they will deal or can deal more damage than, a high level spellcaster on average. Now, obviously, there's maybe some debate, like, for instance, with, like, the wizard or sorcerer, when in the upper levels, when you have spells like disintegrate or finger of death
power
or
word kill.
Well, power word kill is even damage. You just die.
Well, there's
you're just done. You're just done. So
they also have this really cool thing called AoE that a lot of martial classes don't have.
Yeah.
So
but
like, they both serve a purpose, though. And like, as someone who plays a lot of martial classes, I am consistently one of
that's
the
what I mean.
higher
I'm just
damage
saying,
dealers at the table.
it's just with and that's the key word I would say. Consistency. Again,
Yeah.
On average, martial classes will just be able to dish out more consistent damage, so long as you're rolling well, anyway. Then
But it's like, I don't have spells.
Spellcasters are the big, you hit them hard. And hopefully, or at least hopefully, you hit them hard, right? Because even if they fail to save, if you just end up rolling garbage, then it's like, oh, well, that's my turn. Whereas, martial classes are, especially fighters, they have the highest chance to crit because of not just like certain subclasses, but just because they attack. Again, like I just said before, more dice rolls equals a higher chance on average to crit, which equals higher chance on average to potentially do more damage overall. It's obviously, again, like, there's plenty of other factors to come into play, of course, but in terms of just the statistics of it, martial classes, specifically being, fighter and barbarian, unfortunately, ranger, because of how it's made, certain subclasses can absolutely be up there too, but a lot of ranger stuff too, just baseline, unless you add the optional features or some homebrew stuff, can also unfortunately fall off in a lot of ways compared to others. But that being said, this subclass for fighter, absolutely redonkulous, especially at like high max level. Like, it gives you so much, and what I love too is that it gives you just so much like versatility right at the beginning. 3rd level, you can just you can manifest your echo as much as you want, and it lasts as long as you want it to, so long as it's not destroyed, you don't dismiss it, or you're not incapacitated, like, so it's like you could teleport it, you could manifest it 30 feet. Oh no, it has to be within 15 feet of you, but you can manifest it 15 feet above you on like a ledge, teleport up there, manifest it again 15 feet to the top of the building, and then teleport up there. Like, it provides, with a fighter of all things, so much like magical versatility, movement, and options. It's great. And I'm really wanting to use my Echo Knight in a campaign at some point. Like, I would love the chance.
All I know is that your best situation is the fact that your echoes can give you flanking bonus.
If your game uses that, of course, it's an optional feature.
If you use flanking in your game, you can just, if you play an elf or a half elf, just take elven accuracy.
Yep.
And if you're using dex, of course.
Yeah, you'd have to use dex weapons, but
that's triple advantage. If your echo pop, you pop your echo out with your bonus action beginning of your turn, all of your attacks have advantage on things that are small enough.
Yeah,
but it's but
obviously
fun.
Any medium, any tiny to large creature, you could instantly give yourself flanking, because your echo can attack them, and you can attack them like you're in your echo space. So it's like, I would say, by all standards of measurement, because you're
It's a
echo,
flank.
like, and you can use Unleash Incarnation, like, because you can also attack them from that area. Like, you could basically, attack them in front of them and then attack them from behind, and they wouldn't even know it. Like, so I would allow that, and that's just kind of crazy. You give yourself flanking. That's pretty freaking broken and busted. But yeah, you know what, everybody? I would say that hey, stop it. Don't do that. Nope. I'm watching you, bud.
Is he yelling?
Well, he was me. I don't know. He's messing with the green screen a little bit there. He likes to get a little risky. Anyway, with that being said, everybody, that I'd say is the totality of the Echo Knight fighter as told by us here at the Arcane Archive. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on now to the next little subclass we'd like to talk about. Sammy, go ahead. Tell us about the amazing, beloved wizard subclass, Order of the Scribes.
Yeah, this is a newer subclass, which is why I like it. Any wizard subclass that isn't like a school subclass are usually the ones I go for. Just
same. I usually prefer I like transmutation. Transmutation again. We talked about transmutation.
Yeah,
I believe,
and divination,
and divination, and conjuration as well.
But I that's kind of they're very like samey in the sense that it's all related to one set of.
Oh yeah, no, there's no difference except for
the like the War Magic, Blade Singer, Order of Scribes. All of these are kind of like a little bit out of the mold, so to speak. I'll read the little header for Order of the Scribes because I actually really love it. Magic of the book. That's what many folk call wizardry. The name is apt given how much time wizards spend poring over tomes and penning theories about the nature of magic. It's rare to see wizards traveling without books and scrolls sprouting from their bags, and the wizard would go to great lengths to plumb an archive of ancient knowledge. Among wizards, the Order of Scribes is the most bookish. It takes many forms in different worlds, but its primary mission is the same everywhere, recording magical discoveries so that wizardry can flourish. And while all wizards value spellbooks, a wizard in the Order of Scribes magically awakens their book, turning it into a trusted companion. All wizards study books, but a wizardly scribe talks to theirs. I just thought that was whimsical as hell.
That's just hilarious too. It's like it gives the super vibe of like an uber nerd who's just like, hey, look at my imaginary book friend you got.
I've always loved the idea of a socially awkward.
This is Papyrus, my friend.
Socially awkward, like 18-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
he's got acne all over his face.
Barely adult. Like wizard scribe that like ends up with the party for one reason or another, and it's just like
geez, man, okay.
Well, I don't want it to turn into Morty, but
then he I think it'd be perfect. I think Morty fits that mold perfectly, where you're just like, are we doing this? Do I have fireball? And then he just burns them all.
The only difference is he's actually competent.
Morty can be. That's the thing.
Oh, he has his moments.
There are moments where he just, for some reason, knuckles down, and it was just like, wait, how? Why? What? Okay. And I feel like this is the same here, where he gives the illusion or the initial impression of being, again, like kind of incompetent, very scared, very kind of like, and then he just lights some motherfuckers on fire, and you're just like, holy crap.
Of course, the other side of this coin is playing a super old wizard with a book that does things for him.
Literally.
But we'll go over the subclass features. At second level, you get Wizardly Quill. As a bonus action, you can magically create a tiny quill in your free hand. The magic quill has the following properties. The quill doesn't require ink when you When you write with it, it produces ink in a color of your choice on the writing surface. It's like those stupid pens with the 18 different colors.
Yep.
The time you must spend to copy a spell into your spellbook equals 2 minutes per spell level if you use the quill for the transcription.
Crazy, dude.
You can erase anything you write with the quill if you wave the feather over the text as a bonus action, provided the text is within 5 feet of you. The quill disappears if you create another one or if you die. That goes along wonderfully with your other second level feature, Awakened Spellbook. Using specially prepared inks and ancient incantations passed down by your wizardly order, you have awakened an arcane sentience within your spellbook. While you are holding the book, it grants you the following benefits. You can use this book as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. When you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot, you can temporarily replace its damage with a type that appears in another spell in your spellbook. This magically alters the spell's formula for this casting only. The latter spell must be the same level as the spell slot you expended. When you cast a wizard spell as a ritual, you can use the spell's normal casting time rather than adding 10 minutes to it. Once you use this benefit, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. If necessary, you can replace the book over the course of a short rest using your wizardly quill to write arcane sigils into a blank book or magic spell book to which you're attuned. At the end of the rest, your spellbook consciousness is summoned into the new book, which the consciousness transforms into your spellbook, along with all of its spells. If the previous book still existed somewhere, all the spells vanish from its pages. This is cool because it keeps you from, if you lose your spellbook, you can still get all of your spells back.
Yep.
From the original book, which is crazy to me.
I will say, obviously, it is not a common thing at all for your wizard to lose their spell book in any kind of situation normally. Like, that's just not something that a lot of GMs kind of do. But in this event, though, if it does happen, like, maybe that will change because, again, like we just said, GMs, hey, when players and characters have abilities like this, you know, they love to be able to utilize it, you know, just saying, wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, you know. I also, again, I love that we're finally talking about this particular wizard subclass because this is also just so happens to be the subclass that our friend Elias specifically is as a wizard. So it's nice that we're finally getting to that part. But you know what? Continuing on, by all means, Sammy.
Yeah, the cool part about this is, for me, it's the damage type replacement.
That is a huge thing.
Now, it is a little particular. It has to be of a spell of the same level.
Yeah, and in your spell book.
Which, to me, is fun, but it means that you're going to be picking up some occasional spells that you wouldn't normally take as a wizard. Having, like, a lot of people don't pick up whether it's Ice Knife or Melf's Acid Arrow or a couple spells that do damage that maybe isn't as common to be taken by a wizard because they're just not that great. But the reality of this class is that if you get the chance, it is extremely cheap time-wise for you to copy spells down.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily need all of the supplies that you normally would. You still need the gold, but the reality
I was going to say the gold cost is there, but
the cool part is
time is the biggest issue.
You can copy a shit ton, and just having a secondary damage spell around certain spells that you cast, like Scorching Ray is an obvious pickup for wizard, but having an option to shoot
ice,
Scorching Acid or ice, depending on what other spells you can grab, it makes some of those spells that people don't take a little bit more viable in the sense of, well, now I get to mess around with what element everything is. Yep. This definitely isn't the most important thing, and you could get along without it, but the reality is, like, there's going to be a point where you need to overcome resistances in this game, and this is an interesting way of doing it. I like it a lot. I don't know how viable it really is in a full playthrough. I haven't played as this Order of Scribes wizard. I plan to, but it's a fun one and I like it a lot.
It's really awesome. I mean, it gives, again, more versatility to wizards, especially like if you have an enemy that is, you know, resistant to specific damage types, and you can be like, okay, like obviously Chromatic Orb is a huge thing. Which that does kind of beg the question. If you take Chromatic Orb, wouldn't you technically then be able to change it to any of those different element types?
I don't think so.
But it can technically be any of those element types, though. So it literally says you can replace temporarily the damage type with a type that appears in another spell in your spell book, which magically alters the spell's formula for this casting only. So if it's a level 1 spell, I don't see why you couldn't, like, alter with like all 5 of them. Like, I don't think you could do it with higher level spells, obviously, because I think that's the caveat, so where it has to be a spell of the same level as the spell slot you expend. So if it was like, I don't think you could cast like a fireball and then use Chromatic Orb specifically to then change the nature of it. It would have to be like you cast fireball and you make it like a lightning ball instead, like with lightning bolt or whatever.
So the only issue is for Chromatic Orb is that it doesn't have a set damage type, so I don't think it works. Rules is written.
But it has to be. But it has to be one of those damage types, though. It can't just be like nothing.
Where is it? No,
Like,
that's the funny thing. I think Chromatic Orb's a weird one. That's why it doesn't work very well. Let me find it, because I am curious, because that is like a good workaround for. But keep in mind that's just first level.
That's what I'm saying. Like it would only work for first level, but that's still like, especially at second level, that still like expands your repertoire like exponentially. Like, let me just like again for Chromatic Orb, because I have it right here. Bloop. You hurl a 4-inch diameter sphere. You choose acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder for the type of orb you create, and then make a ranged spell attack against the target. So it does have like it because you basically choose as you cast it, like what element you're casting as you do it. So I don't see why it couldn't work for level 1 spells. Like,
I don't know. Like, looking online is like kind of getting me half answers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if anybody's actually.
That's a difficult one.
But I don't. I as rules as written raw, I don't see any reason why it couldn't work. Like, it literally says, when you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot, you can temporarily replace its damage type with a type that appears in another spell in your spell book. These types all appear in this spell.
It's in the description, so I think it's
like
I think
that.
It would work.
That's what I'm saying. Like, with the description, that's what it says. Like, these all types appear in that spell. So at first level, you cast, like, say,
Magic Missile.
Magic Missile. That's exactly my idea. You can make it acid, fire, lightning, cold, or poison missiles instead. Which I don't really know why you would, because force is probably going to be the best thing anyway. But still, like,
I also do like this. You can technically do this with cantrips as well.
Yeah, albeit that's true.
Not as useful, but the reality is,
obviously, if you have like Ray of Frost, you could fire a firebolt, get that D10, and then make it a cold bolt or whatever.
Yeah,
like an ice bolt.
You could do that with Shocking Grasp as well.
Yeah.
It's funny. It doesn't really do anything, but it's funny, and I like it.
I mean, hey, it could help get resistances. Get certain resistances and
stuff. My favorite
thing
thing is, technically, if you were to replace the element on Shocking Grasp, it would still do the same.
I was gonna say, like, the advantage and then getting rid of the reaction.
It would still get rid of the reaction, which is hilarious.
Like, the nature of it would change, and yet all of the other aspects though wouldn't, which is it's pretty funny. It is. It's like, oh hey, I get advantage on metal even though I'm using fire or ice instead.
Yeah. Like Shatter would be an interesting one to change the element of, because you'd still technically, you could change that up. To like fire or something, and it would still
fire
do the
or
same
ice,
extra damage against constructs and things made out of inorganic material, or like a stone or whatever. Which is funny. Is it helpful? Possibly, maybe not. But it's cool. I like the idea.
I would say it's absolutely helpful.
Of a thunderous ray.
Yeah, like, it's just more. I mean, thunder damage is, again, next to force damage. It is one of the least resisted damage types in the game. Like, almost nothing has resistance to thunder damage. It's kind of crazy. So obviously with this, it's like, just having this versatility is great, because you just like I said, one of the biggest aspects, like, Chromatic Orb is a ridiculously powerful spell. I'm surprised more people don't use Chromatic Orb. It's kind of crazy to me. Like, I love using Chromatic Orb. Not only does it give you like the kind of like the whole fucking, Street Fighter Hadouken dream where you get to fire off like an orb of energy and like spirit energy or whatever, but you also, again, you have such versatility with it. Like, plenty of enemies have resistance to fire or cold or lightning damage or poison damage, but not a lot of things have resistance to acid damage. Yeah, so you can and it's 3d8 per first level. At first level, it's 3d8. And then every level above it, you add a D8 to it. So that's freaking bonkers. Either way, point being, like, that with Chromatic Orb, especially at first level, or second level rather, whatever, because that's when you get the ability, that means you can literally switch up all your attack spells with any of those 5 elements right there, which is awesome, especially at lower level. But please, Sam, go right ahead. Continue on.
Yeah, at 6th level, you get Manifest Mind. You can conjure forth the mind of your awakened spellbook. As a bonus action, while the book is open on your person, sorry, you can cause the mind to manifest as a tiny spectral object hovering in an occupied space of your choice within 60 feet of you. The spectral mind is intangible and doesn't occupy its space, and it sheds a dim light in a 10-foot radius. It looks like a ghostly tome, a cascade of text, or a scholar from the past, your choice. You can probably get more creative than that, but I love it anyway.
Yep.
While
Flavor.
manifested,
Always love the flavor.
yeah, more flavor is always great. While manifested, the spectral mind can hear and see, and it has dark vision with a range of 60 feet, and the mind can telepathically share with you what it sees and hears, no action required. This is like a better version of the find familiar looking through their eyes ability. Because it doesn't have a limit on how far away it can go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's 10-foot radius, towards 60 feet. Yeah, it can go, I think, as far as you need it to.
300 feet.
Okay, yeah.
300, that's still a long way away. Whenever you cast a wizard spell on your turn, you can cast it as if you were in the spectral mind space instead of your own, using its senses. You can do so a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. As a bonus action, you can cause the spectral mind to hover up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you or it can see. It can pass through creatures, but not objects. The spectral mind stops manifesting if it is ever more than 300 feet away from you. Someone casts a spell magic on it. If the awakened spellbook is destroyed, if you die, or if you dismiss the spectral mind as a bonus action. Once you conjure the mind, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of any level to conjure it again. This is fun because it creates some interesting interactions with certain spells that are close range, where you can just kind of send the mind in there instead of yourself, and Thunderwave people, or
because I was gonna say,
stuff like that.
obviously with like find familiar, like obviously familiar can act on its own, whereas you do have to deliberately move the spectral mind yourself with a bonus action up to 30 feet.
But you don't use bonus actions that often as a wizard anyway.
No, well, later on you can, like, there are plenty of spells as you get up where, especially with like Misty Step if you need it, or like, Far Step, or there are a couple of other things at that point, but especially at lower level, like, yeah, you can definitely use this to move it. It does, like, it doesn't say what its AC or whatever
it doesn't. No, you can't. It's not. It's intangible. You can't.
But it says the awakened spellbook can be destroyed though
with a dispel magic.
Well, but no, because it says if you cast the spell magic on it, or if the awakened spellbook is destroyed.
Yeah, no, this is the mind. The spellbook is what's on your person.
Oh, okay.
It's a separate entity. It's like a projection.
Gotcha. Yeah, the spectral mind comes from the awakened spellbook. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. All right. If you die, you're supposed to. Okay, yeah. All right, that makes sense then. Yeah, no, I mean, this is still nice. Again, gives a little extra versatility, especially with like your range and just positioning that you can do, because you could, like Sam said, you can hide yourself, then conjure the spectral mind within 60 feet of you, and you can see and hear from it at that point. They can't destroy it, so you could be behind total cover, because it's like you don't have to see the space that you're conjuring it from. You can literally just conjure it in an unoccupied space of your choice within 60 feet of you. You don't have to see the space. So you could conjure it through a door or through a wall and look inside that room or that area or whatever, and then move it 30 feet with a bonus action. And like, yeah. So you could literally just like arcane turret, basically. You're behind total cover, and you just summon the spectral mind, and you just start casting spells out of it, and there's nothing that the enemy can do to you
except dispel it. But
they could try if they have dispel magic, if they have the ability to do that, but that's about it. And they might not even know to try that. Maybe they would. Like, maybe it's like, oh, it's a spell, because it looks like a freaking ghostly apparition. So it's like, it's not even necessarily like they would be like, this is a spell, an illusion spell, because the thing is also literally casting damaging magic at you. So it's like, yeah, maybe another rival wizard would be able to tell, but like, if you're just in a group of like, rogues or thugs or fighters or whatever, there'd be nothing they could do to you. You could just conjure it, Hell, you could conjure it, cast fly on yourself, fly up away from it, and then just keep firing from it again. Like they couldn't do anything to you. That's just bonkers, bro. Like, good lord. I played with a Order of Scribes wizard, but he never did shit like that. Like, All right. Well, anyway, continuing on, please.
That's level 10, Master Scrivener, which is a wonderful word that I don't like. I don't
Master
like
Scrivener.
I don't like is it fuck it, whatever.
I mean, I don't think it matters. Like, I'm not sure either.
This is the 10th level feature, Scrivener Enderman. When you finish a long rest, you can create one magic scroll by touching your wizardly quill to a blank piece of paper or parchment, and causing one spell from your awakened spellbook to be copied onto the scroll. The spellbook must be within 5 feet of you when you make the scroll. The chosen spell must be first or second level and have a casting time of 1 action. Once in the scroll, the spell's power is enhanced, counting as 1 level higher than normal. You can cast the spell from the scroll by reading it as an action. The scroll is unintelligible to anyone else, and the spell vanishes from the scroll when you cast it or finish your next long rest. You are also adept at crafting spell scrolls, which are described in the treasure chapter of the Dungeon Master's Guide. The golden time you must spend to make such a scroll are halved if you use your wizardly quill. So you get 1 free spell basically per long rest.
That's not bad, especially for wizards. Again, one of the biggest, like, not weaknesses, I guess, but kind of. One of the biggest drawbacks of wizard is that, again, they don't get access to their full lists right away. They have to find all of that shit, or they have to level up to get more spells. So, this is like, okay, hey, because you can create 1 magic scroll, like, yeah. And it's like, and you don't have to use a spell slot for it. It's just a scroll. So you can just cast that shit. And it's like, hey, cool, awesome. We take that. Little extra, especially for like wizards, like having a little extra bang for your buck, like not having to utilize like all of your resources right away. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I love it because you know me, I like the crafting stuff, even though it's not supported in this game whatsoever.
No.
Well, it's a little better now, but the fact that it makes you better at crafting spell scrolls, that's a huge bonus. And the fact that you get to do 1 every rest is also really cool. Nothing crazy, game breaking, or like weird, or I don't think there's anything you can really do with it that's busted, but it's still a fun.
It has to be a first level or second level and a cast
that then gets upcast by 1 level when you cast it, which is cool. But it's an extra free spell per long rest, which is always good. It is limited to first and second level spells, but there are some good first and second level spells.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are plenty of great ones. And it's like, it's basically just for you too. So it's a little less versatile or flexible in that regard, because only you are able to read it. But I guess it also means like, your enemies couldn't take it from you. So I mean, but you can also, you can actually make spell scrolls, which is nice. I would probably just kind of streamline it a little bit to just make it a little bit more viable. Since like, I just also like that too. Like I would say I would treat this very similar to like, artificer. That's the word, artificer. Yeah. Like I would treat this similar to how I like kind of like to do magic items for the artificer, where it's like, hey, you can make this stuff. That's what you do. That's literally like your thing. So I'm going to probably cut down the amount of time, because nobody, like in an actual campaign and game, nobody has the time to be taking like a freaking week or month to make like 1 freaking potion, or to enchant a +1 sword, or like to enchant a +1 magic bonus on a sword. It's like, take maybe like a couple of days. I would say like 3 days. And if you like work on this like for 3 days or whatever, that's fine. That works. I don't see a problem with that, because also like the point is that you want to play the game and you want to have these things that you should, by all standards of measurement, because of like, you are literally this individual in this world. You are an artificer. you are a scribe wizard. Like, you would think you should be able to create this shit and then use it on top of that. Within reason, of course, obviously, because then that might get rid of the whole point of having to go to shops and trying to create all of your own shit and then, you know, selling all of this shit for exorbitant prices and stuff. But either way, I still stand by it where I'm like, give them at least a little bit of something to work with in terms of the crafting side.
Yeah, well, we can keep praying and hoping for that.
Well, we'll just do it ourselves. Screw it. We don't need them to give it to us. We'll take it. We'll do it ourselves.
Last but not least, and this is an interesting one, and I'm a little bit torn on how much I like or don't like this. But this is one with the word. Your connection to your awakened spellbook has become so profound that your soul has become entwined with it. While the book is on your person, you have advantage on all intelligence arcana checks, as the spellbook helps you remember magical lore.
I was gonna say, this shit gets kind of crazy.
Yeah, moreover, if you take damage while your spellbook's mind is manifested, you can prevent all of that damage to you by using your reaction to dismiss the spectral mind, using its magic to save yourself. Then roll 3d6. The spellbook temporarily loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level equal to the roll or higher. For example, if the roll's total is 9, spells vanish from the book that have a combined level of at least 9. Which could mean 1 9th level spell, 3 3rd level spells, or some other combination. If there aren't enough spells in the book to cover this cost, you drop to 0 hit points. Until you finish 1d6 long rests, you are incapable of casting the lost spells even if you find them on a scroll or in another spell book. After you finish the required number of rests, the spells reappear in your spell book. Once you use this reaction, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Now, what I will say right here, this is the epitome of fuck it. It is 100% the I have no other choice. I will die here if I don't do this. But there is no reaction. You cannot stop this. You can't counterspell it. It is a impenetrable shield.
Yeah.
Where you take
no damage. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter what happened. Even if it's a save, doesn't matter. Your spectral mind just literally absorbs that shit and sucks it up. Like you
can survive disintegrate. You can survive fucking crazy shit.
Finger of death. You could survive. Yeah. I mean, well,
I don't know about power word kill.
I don't know about power word kill because
it doesn't do damage. It just kills you.
Damage. Yeah, you're just done. You're just gone. So I don't think that would work.
Meteor swarm.
Yes, it specifically take damage. So yeah.
But the reality, this is an oh god, I have no other option. Yeah. I need one more turn.
Yep.
Give me a chance.
This is the last of last resorts.
I like it though.
It's a cool kind of aspect. I thought for some reason, I thought it had another ability where it allows you at some point to literally concentrate on 2 spells at once.
No.
Huh.
That doesn't exist in 5e.
Well, I thought it did. Oh, maybe that was the Unearthed Arcana version of it then. Because I remember at one point I was literally like, Order of Scribes is kind of crazy because it was like one of the first things that allowed like a wizard at like higher level to concentrate on 2 spells at once officially. And I was like, holy crap, that's bonkers. But yeah, maybe that was just Unearthed Arcana that I'm recalling specifically for this subclass. Because even without that, though, I mean, this subclass is still really cool in a lot of ways. Again, it gives you a lot of versatility. Bro, even just the manifest mind is just crazy, dude. Like, you can just throw that. You can just throw it in an area, run away. And it shares. It can see and hear, and you share. It telepathically communicates what it sees and hears. So it's like you can see it, you can cast from it. It's just an arcane turret. You throw it in there, you just cast fly. You run away. You can run within 300 feet, and you can and they can't destroy it. They'd have to dispel it. It's like what could you do? What could any like your GM would have to constantly throw rival spellcasters in order to do anything with this.
Yeah,
like
it's fun. I love it a lot.
That's just crazy. And that's a 6th level ability right there. Like that shit is bonkers. Like, yeah, Master Scrivener, like, or Scrivener, whatever, the Scrivener or Referent is like, it's It's okay, and I don't mind it. Gives you a little extra spell usage, a little extra, resource management or resource application, which is nice, Plus, like, obviously, yeah, has to be a level 1 or level 2 spell. But again, chromatic orb at second level, that's 48 damage. Freaking scorching ray at third level, you get 4 rays instead of just the 3. Shatter, same thing. It's like, hey, there are some decent ass spells at first and third level. And it's just a free thing that you can just do.
Even like grabbing an invisibility, a misty step, something that like you want to have in your
That's
back
what I'm saying.
pocket.
Just as a panic button, like,
yeah, it's awesome.
It does have to have a casting time of 1 action though, so it can't be a bonus
enough. So
action.
no misty.
So no
step.
misty step, but invisibility, absolutely perfect. That is a great thing. And then I think, what does invisibility increase the duration at higher levels or no? Yeah. So either way though, still, like, that still helps. Having that as like a thing where you can just go invisible for free for an hour to like either infiltrate or then like run away from a situation, still amazing and great. Honestly, again, you could just do that. You could go invisible and then have your spectral mind start firing off and doing all of this shit.
Technically, you'd have to use greater invisibility because once you're still
that
using
is true. You're casting a spell. That is true.
So,
you're right.
But if you get greater invisibility, that's a huge.
Yeah, no,
like,
you're just invisible for a minute. Yeah, unless they have like blind sight, tremor sense, or whatever, or true sight, whatever. But that alone, the manifest mind alone makes this kind of crazy. And then one with the word, like at 14th level, it's like, okay, it's basically, yeah, it is the last resort panic button where like, oh hey, you basically can once per long rest just say no to damage. You can just be like, nope, I don't take that. And you could potentially only have to lose up to a 3rd level spell slot or the equivalent of a 3rd level spell. Obviously, at the highest, it would be 9th level. And if you roll too high and you don't have, although again, at 14th level, you would have access, I believe, to 7th level spells at that point. So you would have to roll at 14th level in order for that to not work. You'd have to roll 2 6s and a 5 or 3 6s for that to not work, I believe. For it to be for your mana, for the one with the words not work, because it has to be basically, if there aren't enough spells in the book to cover this cost, you drop to 0 hit points.
Oh yeah, but even if you roll the max, you can still give them a 1st level, an 8th level, and a 9th level.
Well, that's what I mean. Point being though, is like that's the thing though with wizards, they might not have a shit ton of spells.
No. You don't have to give up slot. It's just the actual.
No. Yeah, not slots, but even the spells, like the level of spells. Like even at 14th level, if your GM hasn't been nice to like give you some more spells, like you might not have enough spells to do this at like if it rolls really high. Like it's possible that you would be like shit. Like, and that might be the
no matter what you roll, you would have to give up a lot of your spells, but you would survive the first one. It's the second one that is a no-go.
Yeah. Well, hang on.
I will also say this class does kind of have a built-in help for that not giving us enough spells.
Well, that's what I mean. Like if you're able to like, fucking copy shit, like but
you can I don't know.
Like I'm hang on, let me look real quick, because again I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to remember for wizards at that level, like if you got no extra spells, because you start with 6 spells,
and you get 2 every level,
and you get 2 every level, so it would be 13 levels times 2, so 13 times 2 is 26, so you would probably have 32 spells at that point, just baseline.
To also point out, it's not, you don't have to get rid of prepared spells. You just have to get rid of spells in your book.
In your spell book.
You could get rid of stuff that you don't normally use, and you still have most of the shit that you use, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that at first, and
I was gonna say
wizards have a bunch of shit just in the back pocket that isn't prepared most of the time. So,
well, that's the thing. A lot of the time, at least from my experience, obviously I love wizard, is obviously a lot of spells that you don't have prepared, especially depending on how high your intelligence is, and then your proficiency, obviously, because you can prepare spells equal to like your intelligence modifier and then your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
And obviously, like for me, like I usually have most of my spells prepared that I have access to, unless like it's their ritual spells. Because you don't need to prepare your ritual spells to still cast rituals with them, which is one of the biggest bonuses of being a wizard is you can just have those ritual spells in your back pocket. And so that would be the one thing about that is like a lot of spells that I wouldn't have prepared would probably ritual spells, which would be like, in this moment, if you really have to use this ability, you probably don't need to worry too much about your ritual spells right now. But yeah,
No.
I mean, that shit yeah. The one with the word, not bad. It definitely has some risks at 14th level, depending on how generous your GM is. Although, even if they're not at 14th level, you should, I believe, have like a total at least of 32 spells that you have been able to learn.
Which is pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I think it should be enough to like, a combined level of 9. Like even if you rolled all 6s, like it should be enough for you to like, do that for at least the first one. Because it does say until you finish 1d6 long rests, you cannot cast the lost spells, even if you find them on a scroll or in another spell book. Like, so that might be the one big thing right there too, is that like it's not even after one long rest. Like it's basically you can't cast those spells for 1d6 long rests. And then if you use this again, like Sam said, this is gonna keep like draining you pretty bad if you're not careful and you don't manage it accordingly.
But I mean, that's kind of it's a very, very big
It's a last resort panic button.
Yeah. It's a big exchange, but I like that. Wizard to me always
High
strikes me
risk,
as
high
kind of-
reward.
yeah, and so I like that kind of play for a wizard specifically.
That is fair. But yeah, I would say that in essence is the totality of the Wizard Order of the Scribes as we have showcased it to you here. Let's go ahead and move right along, and we're going to talk about another highly popular, famous, if you will, or perhaps it might be more accurate to say infamous subclass known as the Beastmaster Ranger. Yes, that's right, everyone. We have referenced this subclass many a time here on the channel. We figured it was probably just about time that we talk about it in earnest to showcase to you why exactly it is that it is considered to be some of the most, or one of the most hated, just disappointing subclasses for multiple reasons. That being the case, let us go ahead and get right into this. Beastmaster Ranger. The Beastmaster archetype embodies a friendship between the civilized races and the beasts of the wild. United in focus, Beast and Ranger fight the monsters that threaten civilization and the wilderness alike. Starting at 3rd level, when you first get this subclass, you gain the ability known as Ranger's Companion. You gain a beast companion that accompanies you on your adventures and is trained to fight alongside you. Choose a beast that is no larger than medium and that has a challenge rating of 1/4 or lower. Add your proficiency bonus to the beast's AC, attack rolls, and damage rolls, as well as to any saving throws and skills it is proficient in. Its hit point maximum equals the hit point number in its stat block, or 4 times your ranger's level, whichever is higher. Like any creature, it can spend hit dice during a short rest to regain hit points. The beast obeys your commands as best as it can. It takes its turn on your initiative. On your turn, you can verbally command the beast where to move. No action required by you. You can use your action to verbally command it to take the attack, dash, disengage, or help action. If you don't issue a command, the beast takes the dodge action. Once you have the extra attack feature, you can make one weapon attack yourself when you command the beast to take the attack action. If you're incapacitated or absent, the beast acts on its own, focusing on protecting you and itself. The beast never requires your command to use its reaction, such as when making an opportunity attack. While traveling through your favorite terrain with only the beast, you can move it stealthily at a normal pace. If the beast dies, you can obtain a new companion by spending 8 hours magically bonding with a beast that isn't hostile to you and that meets the requirements. Whew! All right, that was a mouthful of a first ability right there. So let's kind of go into this for a moment, because a lot of you might be thinking after going over that, it's like, well, what's the problem? It doesn't seem to be much of an issue or anything at all. Like, Well, here's the thing, right? essentially, overall, like, one, apparently the beast has to be no larger than medium. I know that Critical Role did not do that. They literally got, what was his name? It wasn't Token. It was
No, it's
Trinket.
it was a bear.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
bear.
Vexalia's bear. I believe he was a grizzly bear, and he was a large creature.
Are you sure that's not counted as medium? Because they're not
Grizzlies,
that.
I believe, are large. I think black bears are medium, but grizzlies, let me even just check just to be sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they counted him as a large creature or not, but I think they did.
I mean, because she could ride on him without him losing, like, movement
Aren't
speed.
well, horses are
So
considered medium, and you can
no,
ride
they're
those.
large. Horses are large. They're large creatures. Same thing. Like, that's why, yeah, brown bear. Let me see. Yeah, brown bears are large beasts. Black bears are medium, and I believe
Oh, okay.
he was a large creature. But that's, again, even right there, you can probably, to be fair, I believe they did start with fourth edition, but even right there, though, you can automatically tell, like, yeah, having a CR, because I was gonna say, even Trinket isn't a CR rating of 1/4 either. I believe he would be at least 1/2. No, he's a challenge rating of 1. So a brown bear is a challenge rating of 1.
Yeah.
So even right there, you can see, like, having to have your beast companion be a medium creature with a challenge rating of 1/4 or lower, like, already does not help much at all. Like, it's like, I mean, it's also like its hit point maximum is either what it just says in its stat block, or it's 4 times your ranger level. Meaning at third level, it would be 12 hit points. If the beast that you have is, if their hit points are lower than 12, it becomes 12 at third level at this point too. Um, along with the fact that, so it takes its turn on your initiative. That's good. That's good. That's perfectly fine. It should be. It makes the combat and everything much more convenient, efficient, and smooth. And you can, on your turn, you can just command the beast where to move. No action. Like, you can have it move anywhere you want with no action. That's great. However, the issue is it literally can't do anything unless you choose to use your action to verbally command it to either attack, dash, disengage, or help.
Yeah, the only time it gets even semi-viable is when you can split your extra attack feature between yourself and your animal.
And then even then, at that point, like, it's like you might as well kind of just attack twice yourself, since you're more likely to do more damage yourself. Because it's like, at this point, again, this is a CR 1/4 or lower creature, depending on what you chose. They're to hit, like, their ability, like, I think, what, like, let's say wolves, right? I believe wolves are 1/4.
Well, there's the common one. It's the you just get a kennel of mastiffs, play a small character, and then use them as mounts. But that's like you need like a bunch of
Yeah.
them.
So again, yeah. So here's the thing. Yeah, a mastiff's hit points is 5, so it would go up to 12 hit points at that point. Although when you get to 5th level, it would then be 15. No, I'm sorry, 20. It'd be 20 hit points at that level. So the hit points do rise as you level up, which is nice. But they're 2 hit, and at 5th level, your proficiency bonus would be 3. So they're 2 hit. Add your proficiency bonus to the beast AC attack rolls. Okay, so basically just uses your proficiency bonus. So they're 2 hit for, like, let's say, like a mastiff, right? Their strength is a +1. So at 5th level, so their 2 hit would just be a +4, and then their damage would be still a D6 +1 piercing damage. Like that. that would be it. Whereas
it just doesn't do
it
anything.
doesn't do any. It's not, again, that's what I'm saying. It's not worth it. Like it's
like how is the steel defender better than
well,
this? It's an artificer that it's the one thing that this is supposed to
obviously
do is
it's
worse than every other class
I
that
mean,
does it.
that's what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't like it's a beast master. It's like you should be able to flawlessly, seamlessly synergize with this creature. And again, the biggest issue here's the thing, people, right? Beasts in and of themselves, like the beast, like monster type or whatever. Most beasts in fifth edition, they're not very strong. Just normally, they are usually utilized as threats against low level parties when they're starting out to like really get them more into the swing of things because they're just like they're beasts. They're not gonna do a shit ton of damage. Monstrosities are like the monsters that are like much more scary and powerful, even though they look like beasts sometimes. They're not. They're monstrosities. Whereas beasts, it's like I think one of the strongest beasts in the game is like the rock, right? The rock bird, like that. And even the rock bird, which is like a gargantuan, big ass bird of prey that is legitimately terrifying and scary, even that creature isn't really that much of a threat to like a party of like level 10 adventurers, really. It's from, I can even check just to be sure. But it's like, it's it's hard to be able to justify anything about this subclass as being viable or not. Like again, hey, you get a little animal companion. That's great. That's nice. It's cute. It's great RP. You're connected with them. That's really sweet and great. The problem though is the issue is they also don't have a lot of survivability. That was also one of the biggest issues with like Trinket in Critical Role is he would constantly almost die all the time. And they had to like leave him alone. Like that was the biggest things. Like Sam would constantly just like rag and like just constantly like rail on Trinket to Laura's chagrin and annoyance and frustration because it was like he was also just inconvenient to bring along. One of the things that was hilarious in Baldur's Gate 3 is the fact that like your animal companions or even as a druid, you can climb up ladders and shit and fall down ladders. It is the funniest, hilarious like animations. I'm so happy they put that in that game. But in reality, it's like, yeah, how do you, take your animal companion who's, a dog and like you're climbing up, steep cliffs or mountain faces, right?
Yeah,
How are you're gonna have to like strap him to the back of like, your strongest character and have them like climb up. Like it's like the inconvenience of it coupled with the complete and utter just mechanical, like this is so subpar. It does nothing. There's no reason for you to give up your action at this level to have your beast attack for you. And then even at 5th level, when you get multi-attack, there's still almost no reason to give up one of your attacks to have your beast then attack. Like,
yeah, it doesn't do anything. And like, it's funny because in Baldur's Gate, as you mentioned, the Beastmaster Ranger is actually a good class.
Yeah, they overhauled it. Like,
they did
the
good
beasts that you can get are far. Like, and that's again why they gave Laura Trinket, who's a brown bear. Like,
well, not even just that. Like, they actually gave them abilities, and like they don't have to. They have their own initiative. Like, the real problem with this is that a lot of these classes that have a follower or companion is the action economy that it presents, because Wizards doesn't want to give you full reign over them because then it fucks with action economy for every other player. The problem is that some of these, like, they've changed it. Some of the newer ones have a better action economy than this, and they still have not updated Beastmaster. They're never going to. It's going to die here. They already made it obsolete by making Drake Warden.
I was gonna say the Drake Warden is just
like the simplest way to put this is they fucked up, and they took what could have been something decent if you didn't have to use your whole fucking turn to make it do anything.
That's what I mean. Like if it was just an extra companion. Dude, like
honestly, like make me use my bonus action then to make it go attack.
I mean,
why is it an action?
That's the biggest thing. If it was a bonus action, even that would be okay. I still feel like, bro, just let it attack itself.
Well, the only reason I say that is
it's like, a beast. Like it's
the the Steel Defender is the same way. You have to use
Yeah,
a bonus action.
but at the very least, though, a Steel Defender is like a construct, right?
Yeah,
it
but
makes,
it's a
it makes
completely intelligent one.
It is. It's an autonomous, intelligent construct. But even with even then, I do still feel like it's like, oh, hey, maybe you like, the first law of robotics. You can't attack or whatever unless I tell you to.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay,
It's
but with
fine.
with an actual beast who has instincts and natural proclivities for violence or whatever, it's like, look, again, it's a beast. It's a beast of a medium size of challenge rating 1/4 or lower. It's not gonna. It is unlikely it will even hit for that matter. Like again, like I said, at 5th level, when you have multi-attack or whatever, now you have a Mastiff, which is an 1/8 creature. It has a bonus to hit of a +4 at that point because of your proficiency bonus. Like, and then it has a D6 +1 damage. Like, it's like, bro, it only attacks once. It can only attack once. That's not even like that's. Whereas compared to other classes where we just talked about it, like hell. To be fair, the Echo Knight is a critical role supplement, so it's like it's not.
Yeah, that's why I'm staying away from it. But like Drake Warden's a good example.
But even Drake Warden or even like you said, freaking Battlemaster or whatever. Like it's
Battlesmith, yeah.
Steel Defender with a Battlesmith. It's like that, like their bonuses to hit plus the damage they can give
is
like,
a little bit more. It's not much more.
It is a bit
really
more, and it doesn't take an action.
Yeah.
You don't give up your own ability to attack. Like
the only difference is eventually you can technically trade out one of your attacks with 2 attacks from your beast. But unless your beast
has multi-attack.
No, it doesn't need it. It can just attack twice.
Can it?
Yeah, level 11.
Okay.
The reality is, right, even then, even at that point, we'll have to read through this real quick. But even then, it's still almost isn't enough to make up for it because your CR rating is so low.
That's what we're
saying. Understand is why has there never been a slight change to it where they're like
you can get a stronger beast or whatever as you level up
your challenge rating for your monster companion or your beast companion can go higher, because even if you were to do that, the beasts at the higher challenge ratings aren't good anyway.
That's what I'm saying. They're still not that dangerous or powerful.
If I was a DM, I personally would raise the challenge rating quite
but here's also the issue though too. Even with that, the problem is, to be fair, at higher levels, yes, your beast's health will increase like more. Again, at 5th level, your beast will have a 20 hit points total. At freaking 11th level, what is it? It's 4 times your level equals number of hit points, or 4 times your ranger level. So at 11, your beast would have 44 hit points at level 11. Right. Yeah. So it's like that. That's not horrible, but it kind of is though. Level 11, you're going to be fighting a lot of dangerous, deadly things. And the issue is if your beast ends up being destroyed or killed or dies.
Destroyed. Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying. At level 11, it's like you have now you literally have nothing, right? You have lost out on literally your entire subclass. Nothing. You have no subclass. You're just ranger. You're just a ranger. You're not even, and it takes 8 hours to magically bond with a beast that isn't hostile to you and that meets the requirements. So it's not even like you can just like summon or call a beast to you. You literally have to find a beast and then spend 8 hours with it, magically bonding with it. Like what? And then it's like, okay. And then also you have the added caveat of like, I just spent all this time with this other beast, or I even got a beast that was like connected to my backstory. So I have like more emotional connection, attachment to it. That motherfucker dies. He's gone now. And you're like, oh.
There needs to be like,
okay, well,
if someone really wanted to play this in a game I was running, I wouldn't tell them no, but I would have to change a lot of it.
No, that's what I'm saying. The only way to make this subclass viable in any way, shape, or form is heavy modification. Heavy homebrew modification. And again, that's what they did in Critical Role. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone else try to make the Beastmaster Ranger work, but I think if they have, they absolutely modify that shit heavily, where they're like, yeah, no, you gotta in order to make this even slightly viable in any way, shape, or form, one, you got to have stronger beast. At the very least, as you level up, the challenge rating of beast that you can bond to, or heck, again, issue being is make it like not a mutated beast, but make it almost like a magical beast, where like
you'd have to make it magical.
It grows with you, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, so that way again, you can have a bit more of a personal connection to it, a bit more of an emotional attachment from like your backstory. As you level up, not only does its health increase, and it's like obviously because it uses your proficiency bonus, but also its challenge rating increases, right? Make it so it's like, hey, yeah, it's a bear. As it grows up, it becomes like a freaking rune bear from Elden Ring, right?
Yeah, there is a what is it, followers or something?
Yeah.
Some sort of
no. There's an actual thing.
The mechanic in 5e where as you get stronger, it also gets stronger.
Yeah, your followers or your companions or whatever they are.
There's like on D&D Beyond specifically, there's a way to edit it where you can put your whatever monster you want. You could show how its stats improve with your stats. My friend has that for his Cavalier Fighter.
Yep.
Because my BM is like, I'm not going to give you like a shitty horse.
Yeah, because you're like, a Cavalier Fighter.
Yeah, I want to give you something that actually like is going to stick around.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say,
decimated in a single turn.
The other thing I would say is if it's some sort of magical beast, give it some sort of token that you could summon it back if it gets hurt. It just maybe takes a long rest or something like that. Because healing your guy is just not.
It's not a great feeling. It's a shitty feeling, regardless. And that's the thing. Like, here's the thing, right? Instead of making like a beast, like, do it like Find Familiar, right? Make it a spirit. Make it a spirit beast or spirit animal, right? That you conjure. Right? There you go. That's a perfect thing right there. That's how you can justify it grows with you. Even if it gets destroyed, like then you can just spend 8 hours to summon it back. Same like a Find Familiar spell or a Find Steed spell.
Yeah.
I
mean, you could make a case for like you use your druidic style magic to like pull spirits of the forest out of
that's what I'm saying.
It
just makes sense.
Companion.
You're a ranger. There's no reason why you can't use your natural magic to bond with the spirits of nature to provide you a beast companion. It is a spirit, but it takes the form of this creature, and it can grow stronger with you. Like, it's such an easy fix in that way. And again, same thing, make it a bonus action. If you need to make action economy a thing, make it a bonus action for it to do something then. Like, but it's the fact that beasts are just intrinsically one of the, if not the weakest, like monster type in the game. And they're not only not even giving you the higher level, stronger beasts to bond to, they're giving you literally some of the weakest ones. And then on top of that, it doesn't go stronger. You don't get a chance to get more. It takes your action to allow them to attack once until later on. But you know what? Let's go ahead and just run through the whole thing real quick. Because again, you can already see this is the first ability you get, and it's already the biggest problem. But you know what? Let's keep going real quick. Let's finish this off. Starting at 7th level, because that's when you get your next ability for this subclass, it is called Exceptional Training. On any of your turns, when your beast companion doesn't attack, you can use a bonus action to command the beast to take the dash, disengage, or help action on its turn. In addition, the beast attacks now count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage.
Ooh, yay.
But nowhere in there does it say that they get enhanced damage from their magical, like, now attacks and such. Like, oh, so their attacks at level 7 now. Okay, so if they get to attack one time and their attacks can't be resisted by what do you freaking do? Like, what? Like,
it doesn't.
And then on top of that, now you can make a bonus action to command the beast to dash, disengage, or help. Like, what are you gonna do with that? Oh, okay, yeah, your beast can now give you advantage on an attack. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's helpful. That's about the only thing. But what are you gonna do with the dash and disengage? I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna use that to get your beast out of freaking line of fire because they're gonna freaking die if they're fighting anything at this level. Like, what is the point Like what is this? Like
The only caveat here is like, are beasts intelligent enough to attune to magic items?
oh my god, dude. Oh
Like
my God.
that's a genuine question, because if you got like magical armor and like horseshoes of speed and like you really tricked this bitch out, you pimp my ride, but it's your beast companion. I'm gonna play Exhibit, the Beastmaster Ranger, and he's
Which
gonna
is
pimp.
what I was gonna say, which is even funnier because her name is Exhibit, like an animal exhibit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's a twofer there.
That's how
Honestly,
it's gonna be
hey,
spelled. It's
you
gonna be
get
spelled Exhibit.
you get inspiration for that one, Sammy. That's a good one. I'll give that one to you. You get inspiration for that.
It's Pimp My Bear. But the reality is,
Pimp My Beast is what it is.
Pimp My Beast is
Yeah,
good.
we're gonna pimp my beast is what we're gonna do.
It's gonna be so good.
I mean, that's the thing. They did that in Critical Role too. They tried to give Trinket like better armor to increase his AC, and it still didn't work.
By the time you join them in campaign 1, they are already level 8.
They're like level 8 or 10, I think.
No, I think it's 8 at the beginning.
It might be 8 because they're going down
8
into
or 9,
Sinkhorn
something
or
like
whatever.
that. But the reality is that within the first 20 or so episodes, Laura realizes I need to stop using Trinket.
Yeah.
And they get lucky and they get the Pokeball, which they end up using the rest of the game to keep Trinket and sometimes Grog inside of.
Yep. Little necklace, you know.
But like, they literally do not use the bear.
No.
For the rest of the game.
Almost never. Never.
Except for roleplay situations. But like, they never, like, the amount of times that Matthew's like, oh, is Trinket with you? And Laura has to really think, like,
yeah,
is it worth?
Is it really worth?
Bear?
Yeah, right now.
No, it's not ever.
No,
and
he's
so
he's in the necklace,
like, and it sucks because, like, you know, you want these companions to be, you know, a character moment.
That's what them to be part of the experience.
The thing that hurts the most about this class is it's the idea of I get a buddy, and it's not just my character. The DM has to play a role here. My character has some sort of bond with this creature for some reason, and it can be a great role play. It can be good for exploration because animals have better instincts than us.
Yeah, they have better senses.
This is all great stuff, but they just can't keep up. And you know, if we put our heads together, if you were running a game and I said I want to play Exhibit, Pit My Beast, and we would come up for a way to make this work. And I think we could honestly do that in a fair way.
It would be relatively easy.
Would I be as powerful as other players? Probably not.
No,
but
most likely not.
I would Pit My Beast, and that to me that's enough. But the reality is that as it is, it's just not very good.
I mean,
even the better parts that they try to give you, the best one on here is by far the last one.
Yeah.
And that's wild to say.
And that's at 15th level. So you know what? On that note, let's go ahead and we'll talk about the last 2 abilities in this subclass, you guys. The next one is going to be at 11th level, and that is Bestial Fury. When you command your beast companion to take the attack action, the beast instead can make 2 attacks, or it can take the multi-attack action if it has that action. Yeah. So you can attack once, and then the beast can attack twice.
Which, to be fair, is not terrible, but because the beast sucks.
You could the issue is
still the same issue.
You can attack 3 times now, which could be decent by all standards of measurement. To be fair, your proficiency bonus at level 11, I believe, would be a +4 currently, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe a +5. I think it would be 4. I think 12 might be 5.
11 is +4. 12 is +4. 13 is +5.
13 is +5. Perfect. So at level 11, you have a +4 bonus to your proficiency. So your beast to hit, depending on if it's a 1/4 creature or lower, could be anywhere from like,
it could be like a +6, +7.
Even more. It might be like a +8 potentially.
Yeah, that's honestly pretty respectable.
It's not terrible, you know. It's probably like between a +8
also
and a +6, maybe.
Its damage rolls are also going to go up by your proficiency bonus.
It won't. No, it won't.
No, it does.
Oh, does it?
It's your beast AC attack rolls and damage rolls.
Oh shit! Okay.
Any saving throws and skills.
All right. That's okay. That's something. Attack and damage rolls.
It will do more damage.
So that's something.
Again, it's still bad because it's a 1/4
The-
creature.
I was gonna say the problem being at most it's a 1/4 creature, which is going to do at most like let's see even real quick if
Yeah,
we can
I want to
find
look. I want to
a
see about
1/4
some
creature
1/4 creature.
to see like how much damage they can do
Monsters?
here real quick. Type, we're gonna put beast. Yep. Challenge. It's gonna be 1/4 highest to 0. So let's go ahead. Let's see.
Well,
An Almirage. Nope. Axebeak. Okay. An Axebeak could work. An Axebeak does 1d8 damage. It's a 1/4 creature. It does 1d8. So that's not terrible. It's like a long sword, you know, or a warhammer or whatever. Okay, Axebeak. What about a baboon? Ooh, a baboon.
What
Yeah,
about a walrus?
Ooh, a walrus. Man, that would be
No.
that would be a B.5 to try to have to
Bad.
contend with.
Ape is pretty decent. It's a short sword.
Yeah. Ape can work.
Ape is actually one of the better ones. I think.
Boar is okay. No, boar is 1d6. Okay.
Oh no,
Cave
ape's a 1/2
badge.
creature. Oh no.
Oh, that's not gonna work. No,
Velociraptor?
I that is not a 1/4 creature.
It's a 1/4 creature.
No way.
It's a 1/4 beast.
No
It's a tiny Velociraptor.
freaking way. That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah, Velociraptor is the one you should do.
Okay. It has yes. Velociraptor. There you
It
go.
also has multi-attack.
Yeah, it has multi-attack. So that would only work at level 7. But level 7, that's not bad.
But it has pack tactics.
Oh no, sorry, not level 7, level 11. Level 11.
It has pack tactics.
It has pack tactics, so let's see. Okay. So
it just swarm of
Okay.
ravens.
Wait. So okay. So it can't do its multi-attack though until Bestial Fury, right?
Yes. And honestly, I'd rather just do 2 bite attacks anyway.
That's even stupider though.
You can choose to. It's an or situation. So I would just do 2 bite attacks.
I mean, that's okay. Like, well, because it's like okay, at 3rd level, because you can command it to take the attack action. Its attack action is multi-attack. So even at 3rd level, can you get it to attack twice with multi-attack? Because it doesn't say you can't. It doesn't specifically say that you can only attack once. It doesn't say that. Like, it doesn't say that. It doesn't specifically say. I assume at level 11, it means if you're somehow, I don't know how it would, but if somehow your beast can attack up to 3 times, then it can do that. Because otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Because there's nothing that says it can't. Like,
I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. I never understood the multi-attack function in monster stat blocks for the most part. Because it'll be like, oh, you can do this multi-attack, or you can hit them once with a bite. And I'm
no, because it specifically says the Velociraptor makes 1 bite attack and 1 claw attack. So like when it has multi-attack, often the monsters will specifically say it can make these attacks this amount of times. Normally, like for instance, with like a dragon, the dragon can make 1 bite attack and then 2 claw attacks. Is usually what happens. Like
maybe this is just a way of making sure that if it doesn't have multi-attack, you still get both your attacks. Maybe that's why they worded it that way.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, because again, it's like
I don't
again,
know.
It just shows again how badly this was configured and set up. Even the thing, it's like again, it specifically says you can use your action to verbally command it to take the attack action. If the attack action is multi-attack at a 1/4 creature, there's no reason why it shouldn't be able to do that. Obviously, now you would have to be like, okay,
I'm so confused.
This
Giant
is
lizard would be good.
Okay.
Giant
So
poisonous snake.
okay. By the way,
Giant-
Velociraptor. Yeah. So Velociraptor makes 1 bite, 1 claw attack. The bite is a D6 and the claw is a D4. So that's not bad. On average, you would deal 9 points of damage on average. But that would increase with the proficiency. Obviously, that would increase with proficiency.
You get a giant. Oh, that's large. Never mind.
Vulture is a vulture. No, that's a D4. Yeah, you got a wolf. Oh, never mind. That's
giant wolf spider.
Wolves are 2D4. That's wolf spiders are not great either. You get a swarm of ravens.
That doesn't make sense.
A swarm of ravens. Hey, it's a beast.
I'm gonna get a space swine. That's my choice.
You get a swarm of ravens can deal 2d6 piercing, or 1d6 piercing if the swarm has half of its hit points or fewer.
I hate this. I really do. I want you to know that I hate it. Either way, yeah. So this ability is strange because I still can't figure out what the point of this ability is.
Scorpion.
Okay.
Pterodon. A pterodon. That's 2d4.
What size is it?
It's pterodon is let me see. It's medium. Pterodon is medium beast.
And it's a 1/4 creature?
Yeah, it's 1/4. Pterodon is a 1/4 creature, medium beast.
Okay.
Poisonous snake.
Just do giant centipede. Oh no, it has 4 hit points.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Its hit points go up, so that's fine.
What about
owl, octopus, mountain goat, Ligadio, knucklehead trout, knife wing. Okay.
You could do a deep Roth.
Yeah, no, I looked at deep Roth.
Deep Roth would be good. Yeah, either way, you can see that this is bad. Sturges.
Damn it! I was gonna say a Hadrosaurus would have been great, but it's a large creature.
Yeah, Sturges would be cool. That's a 1/8 creature. We don't want that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sturges. Nah, it's not enough.
I think giant poisonous snake would be cool.
Giant riding lizard. Giant poisonous snake could be okay, except things are usually gonna be resistant or immune to poison a lot. And the save is so freaking low. I don't know if proficiency would increase it as well, because it doesn't necessarily say like increases DC. Giant lizard. Giant lizard is a D8. Giant lizard is a D8, but it's a large beast, so never mind.
Yeah, so you can't use it. Okay. I think we've looked at that enough.
Maybe a giant frog. That could maybe work. Yeah. So you guys can see how difficult this is, just in baseline vanilla alone, to try and come up with a viable application for this. Again, probably the best 1/4 creature would be a velociraptor. But
I think Deep Roth is better.
Deep Roth. Let me actually see the Deep Roth stats real quick. Deep Rothy, medium beast. It's cattle. It's a big boy. It would be hard though, like, because Deep Rothy is 1d4. If it moves straight forward 20 feet, it can deal an extra 2d6, which is nice, but
it's decent.
It has. I would still say the Velociraptor is better on average because it's just more. It's more viable. Like the Deep Rothy it's too big to. Again, it has the same trinket issue. You can't really take your Deep Rothy everywhere with you. Like it's just like it would be.
You don't want to just walk around town with a weird.
I know. I mean, walking around town would be great with it, but going to like dungeons and shit would be far harder with this thing.
Are you saying you don't trust the Deep Roth to go across like traps?
That I don't trust to go across bridges. And again, it loses out on all of the things that could be better if it can't move 20 feet straight toward a target immediately before it hits. Like the Velociraptor is probably the best one to choose. Just and it's also for all around purposes. It has multi-attack.
It has a great room for growth where it can grow bigger to the point where you can ride it.
Yeah, T-Rex. It should become a T-Rex. You start as Velociraptor and it becomes a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Like those big fuck off Velociraptors. They're like the size of.
Oh yeah, no, the what are they called?
Like the size of like 3 or 4 people put together. They're not like T-Rex size.
You're talking about Allosaurus or whatever? No, I was gonna talk about the not
the angry fuckers.
The Houston Raptor or whatever the frick it's called.
Yeah, the big one. Dinosaurs aren't real.
They're real, you son of a bitch.
Well, most of our versions of them are not.
No. They're not. Most of our things are not accurate for certain. Yeah. But also point being is that's the issue. Even if you were like Velociraptor is clearly probably the best, if not, at the very least one of the best. But it's super unlikely you're going to be able to justify having a Velociraptor as your beast companion. And even if you do, whenever you start,
you busted
whenever you start walking through town with a Velociraptor,
dude, just put a harness on it. It'll chill on your shoulder. It's fine. It's like
it's chill on your shoulder. It's a medium creature. It's as big
tiny
as you.
Creature.
Velociraptor?
It's a tiny creature.
Oh, you're right. It is a tiny creature. Why is Velociraptor tiny? Like that's
because actual Velociraptors were very small. The big ones that
you're not
things
wrong.
were not Velociraptors.
Well, no, but that's the Utah Raptors. That's what they're called. Utah Raptors. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
well, that's why
Utah
there's a
Raptors.
look, there's a clawfoot raptor in one half that's bigger, but this is a little guy.
Oh, is there a clawfoot raptor?
Yeah, there's a little guy. This is a little guy. He's just a little guy.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
Put a
Okay,
harness
yeah,
on him,
okay,
he's
okay. You
basically
know what?
just
Yeah,
a scaly cat.
I take it back. You know what? He's a little guy, so you know what? That works. That
All
works.
right,
We'll do
now
that.
at level 15 with your little guy, what happens at level 15?
Yeah.
with your little
So
guy?
at level 15, after you've reached literally the absolute capstone ability for your little guy, you get the ability known as Share Spells.
Now I need to check
Level 15. When you cast a spell targeting yourself, you can also affect your beast companion with the spell if the beast is within 30 feet of you. So here's the thing about rangers, right? A lot of their spells that target just themselves don't really do a lot. Like, I would say Zephyr Strike would probably be one of the best spells that, like, actually, like...
No, that's...
Nope.
What do you mean?
Go ahead.
A Chardalon Stride?
Yeah, a Chardalon Stride.
That could be fun.
Freedom of movement. Freedom of movement could be good. Let's see.
Dark Vision?
Wow, really? Your beast doesn't have dark vision already? Wow.
Not all of them
Okay,
do,
okay. Hang on. This might be some. Okay, no. Okay, it might not work. I was gonna say Steel Wind Strike, because it's
Guardian
like
of Nature.
you are technically casting the spell on yourself and then you're attacking, but I think it also is like you're making a melee spell attack, so I don't think that works.
Guardian of Nature.
Stone Skin. You could cast Stone Skin on yourself and your pet.
No. Guardian of Nature is the one you want to go for.
Locate creature. That could actually be helpful. Locate creature.
Non-detection?
You
Pass
could,
without trace.
Yeah, pass without trace already affects them anyway, so it's like...
Would stack?
I don't know if it would stack. No, because but you could maybe increase the radius if you're both doing it.
Okay.
Like, you can make it maybe like 60 feet.
Protection of energy is good.
Water walk, although you can do that with multiple people anyway. Speak with plants. Hey, your beast companion can speak with plants.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm pretty sure the best one, the actual best one, is still Guardian of Nature.
Why is that the best one, Sam?
Because you can give a bunch of buffs to your guy.
Yeah,
and yourself.
But Guardian of Nature is still pretty bad. Guardian of Nature is a pretty horrendous spell.
What do you mean, dude? It's super cool.
It's a concentration spell. It's a bonus action, to be fair, but it's a concentration spell up to 1 minute. The transformation lasts until the spell ends, and you choose one of the forms: Primal Beast or Great Tree. Primal Beast, your bestial fur covers your body. Your facial features become feral, and you gain the following benefits: increases your speed by 10 feet. You get dark vision to a range of 120 feet. You make strength-based attack rolls with advantage, so that could be nice. Your melee weapon attacks deal an extra 1d6 force damage on a hit. And then for Great Tree, you appear all barky and sprout leaves from your hair, and you gain 10 temporary hit points. You make con saves with advantage, and your dexterity and wisdom-based attack rolls with advantage. And while on the ground within 15 feet of you is difficult terrain for your enemies, So it's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's not horrible.
It's the best one I can find.
That could work. And what could be cool too is, like, maybe if you could choose for one of you to get one of the transformation, the other one takes the other one. That could be cool. I would allow that. I would be like, okay, yeah, hey, the beast can take
I think you would be able to, because when you cast a spell targeting yourself, you can also affect the beast companion with the spell if the beast is within 30 feet.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, give it the primal beast one. It increases its walking speed by 10.
And it's
dark vision, strength-based rolls. So that's what I mean. Most of your beasts are probably going to be using strength-based attack. So give it that, and then give yourself Great Tree.
And you know what? Fuck it. I would argue that you should be able to give it the extra d6 of force damage. I know they're natural weapons, but to me that's still
it's still their melee weapon attack. Well, let's think they're natural weapons.
The problem is that it's not considered a weapon as the rules are written, but I think it's fine. I think
they are technically considered magical. So I'm going to say
they need something.
They desperately need an extra fucking D6 or whatever. So you know what? Guardian of Nature. That's about it. Or again,
Steel Wind Strike.
freedom movement. Well, Steel and Strike won't work because again,
No.
you technically attack other creatures.
Okay.
So I thought
And,
so too. I was like, oh hey, Steel and Strike, but no.
A Chardalon Stride, or whatever the fuck it's called, that one would be
I
interesting.
mean, Charlotte
It'd be
Stride is
funny.
okay. Like I
It
said,
would be funny because you're
Zephyr Strike is great. Like Zephyr Strike could be cool.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, there's
probably a good combo there, but
No,
it's also
there-
it's probably overshadowed by the rest of this dog shit though.
Yeah, no, it's just, and then, but again, here's the issue. Here's the issue, right? You're at 15th level at this point. Like, it doesn't matter. Your beast isn't going to survive, like, the first initial engagement with an enemy at 15th level. It's not going to happen. Again, 15th level, what? Your dude's hit points are going to be 4 times 15. What is that? That would be, what? 50? No, sorry, 60. I believe it'd be 60 hit points. Your dude's hit points would be 60 at the max at 15th level. Where a lot of monsters or enemies are probably going to be dealing on average like what? 20, maybe even 30 points of damage at that point, which is literally half your boy's hit points. Now, maybe your GM will be merciful on you, and he won't directly target your furry little fella, your good boy, you know, your good little guy. Maybe, but he hits you with them AOE's. It doesn't matter, does it? Them AOE hits. You have a dragon's breath at 15th level. You're fighting ancient dragons. They deal on average. Let's even just see real quick. Well, we'll even do the weakest. What? Ancient white dragon.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Could you do Searing Smite?
That could
both
work.
of you?
Yeah,
That'd
that
be
could work.
interesting.
It's only you. It's only you.
Okay. That's interesting. That might work.
So let's do ancient white dragon.
This is
Their breath weapon does on average 72 points of damage. Now, if your bud,
don't worry. You could cast Absorb Elements on it too.
Yeah. You could cast Absorb Elements on yourself and your bud. That would work. And if your bud makes the con save, you know, that would add on to it too. He makes a con save of 22 would be the save. Your proficiency bonus at 15th level, I believe, is a +5 at this point. Is a 5. So let's use the Velociraptor just as again the best kind of thing.
I don't think it's gonna make that con save, bud.
You know, hey, you gotta believe, Sammy. You gotta believe. Yeah, its con is a +1, so you got you got a +6 to that save. So you'd have to roll.
Can I be honest?
A lot
of players only get up to like a +6 or 7 in con saves. So
it depends. Like I am always the one who takes resilient and puts it in con because I'm also a spellcaster all the time. So I'm like, you know, concentration checks. So, but regardless, you know,
it's not good. It's not good.
You'd have to roll a 16 or higher to have any chance of surviving that breath weapon. Unless of course they roll poorly. Again, 72 on average damage.
That's still average roll is average roll. That's outrageous.
It's still literally 12 points higher than the max hit points your bud has at 15th level. So the statistical probability of him rolling at least 60 points of damage and that dragon's breath. Now again, he has to recharge it every turn, right? He has to roll a 5 or a 6, I believe, for to recharge the breath weapon. So, you know, he can't do that every time, especially if your GM is an infamously shitty roller, you know. But then he can attack 3 times. He can bite you.
He can do enough damage to down it in just the regular attack.
And in one turn. And
that doesn't count like the extra tail attack you get as a legendary action. Yeah, it doesn't really do a whole lot.
It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, y'all. Your furry little fella's gone. He's gone. He's a freaking popsicle at this point.
We should at some point do a breakdown of how he would change it and record that. That'd be good.
I'm down for that. Absolutely.
We'll write it out.
We already gave some indicators, but yeah, I think we could create like a Beastmaster revised kind of thing, and we can like go over like you know, the ways that we wanted to kind of like maybe even a couple of other things too, a couple of other subclasses that we've talked about previously. Kind of like
alchemist.
how we would, you know, drunken master or maybe some other things, maybe just some of the lower tier ones that we've talked about. We
Death
you know can
Cleric.
do
Oh
we
wait,
can, we,
no,
we
Death
can
Cleric's
do
the best
yeah
class to
again brand new idea for a new little app channel or not channel but a new you know a new show
Series?
concept here, yeah, new series here for the channel on the Arcane Archive. Subclasses revised. I like that.
Yeah.
But that being the sense, honestly, I think that's a perfect segue to springboard to our final subclass we're going to be talking about. Talk about maybe needing a little bit of a revision in some
Yeah,
areas
this
and
is also
ways.
one.
Go ahead, Sammy.
Before
Take it away.
before we get into this, I'll give you a sneak peek. I'm talking about wild magic.
We're talking about the wild magic sorcerer.
I do need to unfortunately pause real quick. I gotta check on my boy. I heard
Go
a
right
big
ahead.
sound
Hey,
upstairs.
I'm gonna say, speaking of furry boys that need a lot of protection and care, go ahead. Yeah, I mean he's an older boy.
my old ass dog.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
no
pause
worries.
this real quick.
We will be right back, y'all.
Thank you,
Pardon us in
guys.
this momentary thing. And we're back. Thank you for that little brief hiatus there. I believe Sammy's boy is all good, yeah?
Yeah, he's you know, living in his own world.
Hey, I mean, I wish we all were, man. That's one of the best things about being an old dog in your twilight years. You get to you're just
He's
there,
just
man.
vibing.
You're just
He's just
along for the
vibing.
ride. That's right. All right. Well, as we were
But
saying, let's go ahead and kick it off with the last subclass we'll be discussing for today. What are you doing, Sammy?
we're doing wild magic sorcerer.
Wild magic sorcerer.
Your innate magic comes from the forces of chaos that underlie the order of creation. You might have endured exposure to raw magic, perhaps through a planar portal leading to Limbo, the elemental planes, or the far realm. Perhaps you were blessed by a fey being or marked by a demon. Or your magic could be a fluke of your birth, with no apparent cause. However it came to be, this magic churns within you, waiting for any outlet. Wild Magic Surge. It's not like a leveled ability, but it's the whole point of this class.
Literally, this is what makes it the wild magic sorcerer.
Starting when you choose this origin at first level, your spellcasting can unleash surges of untamed magic. Once per turn, the DM can have you roll a d20 immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell at first level or higher. If you roll a 1, roll on the wild magic surge table to create a magical effect. If that effect is a spell, it is too wild to be affected by your meta magic, and if it normally requires concentration, it doesn't require concentration in this case. The spell lasts for the full duration. Now, what this means is at any point in time, your DM can go roll a d20 after you cast a spell, and if you roll
a
one,
leveled spell specifically,
if you're Adam, this will happen much more often.
This is why I can't do this. I can't do this.
You now have to roll a d100. And there is a table, and I'm going to go over this table as quickly as I possibly can.
There's a lot of things.
If you roll 1 or 2, you roll on this table at the start of each of your turns for the next minute, ignoring this result on subsequent rolls. That is terrifying.
That is horrible.
Yeah, 3 to 4. For the next minute, you can see invisible creatures if you have line of sight on them. That's good. 5 to 6, a Modron chosen and controlled by the DM appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you, then disappears 1 minute later. Sure. 7 and 8, you cast Fireball as a 3rd level spell centered on yourself.
You you literally just boom.
9 to 10, you cast Magic Missile as a 5th level spell. Magic Missile. At 11 to 12, you roll a d10. Your height changes by a number of inches equal to the roll. If the roll is odd, you shrink. If the roll is even, you grow. 13 to 14, you cast Confusion centered on yourself. You get to choose though, so that's okay. That's an okay.
Well, I was going to say confusion, like
the wording of the spell is you get to choose affected, so that's fine.
Yeah. So it's like okay.
It's just free confusion in a radius around you. 15 to 16, for the next minute, you would gain 5 hit points at the start of each of your turns. 17 to 18, you grow a long beard made of feathers that remains until you sneeze. At what point?
No, it does say each creature in a 10-foot radius centered on a point you choose within range. So everybody in there, including you, would have to make the save. It's just every creature in it. Yeah. So no, that's terrible. Confusion would be horrible.
I like this one. You grow the long beard of feathers that remains until you sneeze, at which point the feathers explode out from your face. That's 17 and 18.
That's always fun. Yep.
19 and 20, you cast Grease centered on yourself. Awesome. 21 to 22, creatures have disadvantage on saving throws against the next spell you cast in the next minute that involves a saving throw.
That's nice.
Cool.
That's nice.
23 to 24, your skin turns a vibrant shade of blue. A remove curse spell can end this effect. Is there for something like that, that's permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you remove curse, you're just blue now.
Yeah, cool. That's cool. I like that. 25
to be fair,
to
it's a second level spell for remove curse,
Yeah,
so you know,
fine.
not too bad.
If you have a caster that has it.
Yeah.
25 to 26, an eye appears on your forehead for the next minute. During that time, you have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight. Love it.
Yep.
27 to 28. For the next minute, all your spells with a casting time of 1 action have a casting time of 1 bonus action.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. 29 to 30, you teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space if you're choosing that you can see.
I would also ask though, if they have a casting time of bonus action, does that mean that you then can't use them as an action?
I don't know.
Like that would be the one
rules
thing.
is written you can't cast a bonus action spell as an action. So
exactly. So this might screw you over exponentially.
Would that also do it to your cantrips? Because if it doesn't do it to your cantrips, then this is great.
It says all of your spells with a casting time of 1 action. Cantrips are spells. Okay. Yes, they are.
This sucks.
Yeah, unless again,
you know what? Unless you can take the dodge action every turn.
Yeah, for what? A minute? So basically 10 rounds. You take the dodge or the disengage or the dash action to like run away as you only cast the bonus action spell.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Because
this gets rid of your freaking meta magic. You can't even use quicken spell with this because it's already a bonus action. Unless, of course, we're going to say, hey, this means you can cast them as either an action or a bonus action. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. That's the next one is 29 to 30. You teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see. 31 to 32. You are transported to the astral plane until the end of your next turn, after which you return to the space you previously occupied or the nearest unoccupied space if that space is occupied. Cool. 33 to 34. Maximize the damage of your next damaging spell you cast within the next minute. Awesome.
That's great.
35 to 36. Roll a d10. Your age changes by a number of years equal to the roll. If that roll is odd, you get younger. Minimum 1. If the roll is even, you get older. Wonderful. At 37 to 38. 1d6 flumps controlled by the DM appear in an unoccupied spaces within 60 feet of you and are frightened of you. They vanish after 1 minute. They are lawful good, so that's cool.
Flumps are nice, they're cool, but they're frightened of you, though.
Yeah, 29 to 40, you regain 2d10 hit points.
Let's go ahead and jump down towards like the lower ones now to see like how some of these, if you go up, they actually are good. Like the lower it is, usually the worse it is, but the higher it goes, like
my favorite is you turn into a potted plant until the start of your next turn.
Yeah, that shit's pretty crazy. You cast polymorph on yourself. If you fail the saving throw, you turn into a sheep for the full spell's duration, and polymorph lasts for an hour, y'all. So if you roll
they
a
can knock you out of
77 to 78, yeah, you're just a sheep for an hour unless they can
knock you out of the polymorph.
Well,
because polymorph, if you get hit,
you drop to 0 hit points, but the thing is though, Sammy, it literally says you turn into a sheep for the spell's duration though. Because it also
but the transformation lasts for the duration or until the target drops to 0 hit points.
That's true. No, you're right. It says you cast polymorph on yourself. So
it's still the rules.
It's still the spell. Yes. Okay, that's good.
But if no one attacks you, you're stuck as a sheep for an hour.
Yeah, you're just there. Not good. Yeah, and you are a sheep. You aren't like a druid who can still retain like their mental ability and stats. You're a sheep. You have all the stats of a sheep.
There's a couple of good ones, like each creature within 30 feet of you takes 1d10 necrotic. You regain hit points equal to the sum of the necrotic damage.
Like basically all the ones like 80 and above are actually pretty decent. Like not all of them, but yeah, they are though. Like 81 to 82, you can take 1 additional action immediately.
Yeah, but 95 to 96 is terrible.
I mean, we'll see. Hang on. 85 to 86, you cast Mirror Image. 88 or 87 to 88, you cast Fly on a random creature within
creature
60 feet of you. And it's not concentration. So, like, they're just able to fly now for 10 minutes. 89 to 90, you become invisible for the next minute. And during that time, other creatures can't hear you. So you're just invisible and you're basically completely unsensible for the most part until you attack. The invisibility ends if you attack or cast a spell. 91 to 92. If you die within the next minute, you immediately come back to life as if by the reincarnate spell.
That's fun.
It's not the best way to come back, but it's at least a way. Like, 93 to 94, your size increases by 1 size category for the next minute. That's not bad. 95 to 96, you and all creatures within 30 feet of you gain vulnerability to piercing damage for the next minute. Okay, here's the thing. Most creatures, I mean, they don't necessarily do piercing. A lot of it is slashing. Now, if you're getting bit, that's piercing damage. That would be very bad. Yeah, that would be horrible. Be super horrible. But although that would also apply to your enemies. So it's like, it's kind of a toss-up, right? If say you have like an ancient red dragon you're fighting and this happens, it would be really bad because if he bites you, you'd be screwed for sure. But if you have like a rapier or a spear, or if you're using bow and arrows, or if you're using daggers or short swords, that would technically work for him too. So 97, 98, you're surrounded by faint ethereal music for 1 minute. Not bad. And then 99 to 100, you regain all expended sorcery points. So again, as you get like higher up in like, I would say again, around like the 80s, like in like all of that stuff is actually pretty decent overall.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's not.
Whereas the lower you are, the more horrible it is, honestly. Yeah. Except for like, the fireball spell, the polymorph spell, it's not great. There's a lot of bad stuff. Suffice it to say, this subclass, ladies and gentlemen, is known as a TPKer. It is that, along with the Wand of Wonder, it is known as being one of the most prolific causes of TPKs. For those of you who are not in the know, TPK stands for Total Party Kill. But everybody dies, everybody been wiped out, it is gone, lost.
You're saying, oh, Sam, Adam, you won't be rolling on here that often. You have to roll a 1 on a d20, and it's only if you cast a spell and your DM thinks it's a good time. But let's talk about one of the first level abilities that completely negates that problem. Yep. Tides of Chaos. Starting at level 1, you can manipulate the forces of chance and chaos to gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Once you do so, you must finish a long rest before you can use this feature again. Any time before you regain the use of this feature, the DM can have you roll on the Wild Magic search table immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell of first level or higher. Mm-hmm. You then regain the use of this feature. What does that mean? There is no rolling a d20.
You don't have to roll a 1 at that point.
We love this.
So you can either choose to never use Tides of Chaos, and you'd have to roll a d20 and you get a 1, or you use it and then the GM just gets to decide whenever you cast a leveled spell, hey, roll on that table, and then see what happens at that point.
But it's just more opportunities for you to fuck everything up around you. I love it. We'll move on to 6th level for Bend Luck. Starting at 6th level, you have the ability to twist fate using your wild magic. When another creature you can see makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can use your reaction and spend 2 sorcery points to roll a d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty, your choice, to the creature's roll. You can do so after the creature rolls, but before any effects of the roll occur. Cool. It means you can wait and see until it's going to hit.
Yeah. Or succeed or whatever.
Yeah, which is
to affect
awesome.
The saving throw too, especially. That's great. Like, not a lot of shit is able to affect saving throws.
This is a bane or bless on your reaction.
Yep.
Albeit it is tied to your sorcery points, which again, we've talked about this.
You have 6 sorcery points. I'm not talking
about this level again. We're just not going to talk about
6 sorcery points, Sam.
Not fantastic.
And it takes 2. Yeah, that's almost half your sorcery points at this level.
You know what this is giving? This is giving Way of the Four Elements monk in terms of let's quickly let's move to 14 because it goes from 6 to 14 for sorcerers, baby.
Oh yeah, look at that.
At 14th level, you gain a modicum of control over the surges of your wild magic. Whenever you roll in the wild magic surging table, you can roll twice and use either number.
So
Isn't
hey,
that something?
you have even more chances to screw shit up around
Well,
you.
or avoid screwing shit up.
Hey, you know, if you're lucky. Let me ask you a question, audience. You feeling lucky?
Lucky.
You feeling real lucky? Because you got to ask yourself that question. If you're going to take this subclass, if you're feeling lucky, then go right ahead. But if you're not, that's why I could never play this subclass ever. I couldn't trust. The dice gods would revel in the chance
I could play
to absolutely decimate me and everyone around me with this. I would do this as a meme. I would do this as like a one-shot meme where I'm like, I'm going wild.
I'm playing
magic
a full
sorcerer.
campaign, and this guy's definitely gonna get himself killed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna die real soon, and then it's gonna be like, well,
this should you know what this should be my melee dwarf sorcerer. Because, that way he'll be right in the thick of it when he
explodes. Explodes.
But the final subclass ability at 18th level, Spell Bombardment, is actually not bad. The harmful energy of your spells intensifies. When you roll damage for a spell and roll the highest number possible on any of the dice, choose one of those dice, roll it again, and add that roll to the damage. You can use this feature only once per turn. If you do a enhanced spell or heightened spell, there's one that allows you to like re-roll dice.
I think
if you roll max damage on one die, you basically get a free extra die.
You can roll it again. So
and add that. So that
I was also gonna say, like, if you fire a chromatic orb at 7th level, that's like freaking how many? 3d8 plus 1, be what, 7th level, so an extra 6d8? Yeah, so that's be an extra 68 to 3d8, so you'd be 9d8. You'd be rolling 9d8.
No, that's not what it does.
What I mean is, if you roll 9d8, and if multiple of those are 8s, you can then re-roll all those dice.
One. It's just one. It's just one.
Well, it says, okay, choose one of those
again,
dice and add that to the roll.
It's just one.
Oh, that's not as great as I thought.
No, but the reality, it's just extra damage all the time.
I guess.
If you're good at rolling max damage on one of your dice. It's not great. Again, it's okay. That's why I said it's okay. If you can't tell, this
I don't even get what the point of this is. Like, this whole thing is completely different from the theme of the rest of the fucking abilities. Like, what?
Yeah,
it's like spell bombardment. Yeah, you just get extra damage from one extra dice roll. You're like, at 18th level, what? Isn't this supposed to be like a wild? What does this have to do with wild magic?
No idea.
Nothing. What?
I'm really loving the top comment underneath here, which is meta magic can be used with cantrips. Yes, which is why sorcerers are better than wizards.
And we don't die from 1d10 breathing damage. Sorc life. Yeah.
Yep. This is how we're talking about. But
they want to say that because they can use meta magic with cantrips, this is why sorcerers are better than wizards.
Yeah, here. So 5th level sorcerer. fifth level sorcerer, you take variant human, you take elemental adept fire, and you quicken spell to cast Scorching Ray, upcast to 3rd level as a bonus action, and then use twin spell to cast 2 firebolts, which essentially is like 3 turns of attacks in 1 turn. And then you have no more.
Yeah, you have no more sorcery points. You did that exactly 1 turn, and now you're done. Like, wow! Congratulations!
I feel
Are you happy? Do you think you did good?
I feel like at some point I'm just gonna have to play sorcerer while you run a campaign, just to see how fucking dumb we can make it.
Oh, it would be fantastic. It would be phenomenal, honestly.
This class is a troll. It always has been. If I go to play in a game and someone's like, I want to play sorcerer, and they're like, I'm playing wild magic, I will make it my mission, 1, to advocate for the DM to make them roll on the table more often. 2,
of course you
never be within 60 feet of this character.
Yeah, absolutely. Ever.
Because similar to Gale from Baldur's Gate, they are a walking
time bomb. They're a ticking time bomb. And it is highly likely that they are going to go off at the most inopportune of times,
right next to you,
and decimate your entire party inadvertently.
What I like is if I was a DM and I would choose the worst possible moments. You know, your sorcerer walks.
Oh
into
yeah,
a
are you kidding
room,
me?
You're in the middle of like a important meeting with a king.
If they
and
use
like,
Tides of Chaos at any time, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I want to cast Charm Person or whatever." Cool. Roll on that wild magic table.
Yeah.
They roll a 7 or 8. Kaboom.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
And like it's funny.
I can't. I hate this kind of stuff. I hate this stuff because it gives far too much credence to just justifying random ridiculous shit that can screw everything up. It's the same shit as like the deck of many things or the wand of wonder. I had a player, like I played in a game one time, first campaign I ever played in. There was a player and a character who used the wand of wonder like all the time. And it would always just cause all kinds of ridiculous shit to happen. It was either one, you'd waste your action casting something that did nothing, or it would just literally blow up in our faces. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, this is not actually helpful. This isn't helpful. At the very least with this, it's like you're casting a spell that you would most likely intending to be helpful, whether it's an offensive spell, a support spell, or something. And it's like, okay, I did this thing to help. And then this happens. It's like, okay, that's gonna be slightly more acceptable, but you also chose to play this thing, and so you knew exactly what you were doing getting into this. This shit is freaking aggravating. And it's like, dude, God,
well,
I just
can if I play Wild Magic Sorcerer, can I have the Wand of Wonder?
No, you cannot, Sam. You
Why?
absolutely cannot. You don't need it.
Not?
You don't need it. It's
want
stupid.
it.
It's ridiculous. It's stupid and dumb. You do not need it.
What what if every time you use the Wand of Wonder you have to roll on the wild?
I just thought, yeah, you could, because or like specifically only if the Wand of Wonder casts a spell.
No,
then
if I'm going to use it, I have to use it. I have to do both.
Nah, it would only work if the Wand of Wonder casts a spell. Which is highly likely because, again, the Wand of Wonder functions almost exactly like the Wild Magic Surge table. So it's highly likely it will cast a spell.
About half of these are spells.
Yeah, like
a good 50% of these are spells.
Yeah.
The rest of them are not, but
it's highly likely.
Yeah. It's definitely a troll pick.
100%.
There are better sorcerers to play.
Exponentially so. Not by much, but exponentially so.
Oh no, by a lot. Like all of them are really good. But
no, I mean I'm just saying it's not saying much to be better than this, as you're a sorcerer anyway. Like, so let's be honest now. If we're gonna be honest.
Look. Let's put the sorcerer hate aside a little bit. We're already shitting on a beloved.
Hey, I gave it some of its due credit. I said the Divine Soul is pretty decent. I would play a Divine Soul sorcerer, Shadow is okay as well to a certain extent, kind of, not, maybe a little bit, it has its moments, sure, maybe. But hey, y'all, that is the totality of the Wild Magic Sorcerer as told to you here by us at the Arcane Archive. Again, this is a truly beloved or exceedingly popular choice, especially for newer players, I would say, or veteran players who Sam just said love to troll, because it is a troll subclass where all of this stuff, let me tell you, you believe your odds, your chances, if you're just like that, more power to you. But hey, when you are then the one responsible for your party's first ever TPK due to a rogue fireball detonating on top of you or a confusion spell activating on all of you inadvertently or any of that other stuff where you turn into a sheep for an hour if you're not hurt, or if you cast a fog cloud on yourself and no one can see through it. When you have to choose up to 3 creatures within 30 feet of you to take 4d10 lightning damage. That's pretty good because you can choose. So that's pretty nice. But when you're frightened by the nearest creature until the end of your next turn. Yeah, hey, like I said, more power to you if that's how you get your rocks off. We here at the Arcane Archive, as I always like to say, no kink shame, but no kink shame. That's all. Or other way around. No kink shame, but no kink shame. There it is. That it is. But regardless, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode. We hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to like and comment on the video, subscribe and share the channel. And as always, we love you guys. We appreciate any support that you can offer. And we will catch you guys all in the next one. So long for now.